morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to GameSpot's Best of 2017 Countdown. Today, it is finally time, December 20th, to do our mega stream, counting down from our third game to our second to our overall Game of the Year as voted and argued on by the GameSpot staff. We pretty much might as well get right into it because I'm sure all of you think you know what this game is. So here's a montage for our number 3 game of 2017. There you have it. Super Mario Odyssey from Nintendo is our number 3 game of 2017. I'm Mike Mahardy here to chat about it with Peter Brown.
Hello again.
Randolph Ramsey.
Hello, everybody.
And Justin Haywald.
Hey, hey.
You both like this game a lot, so I figured I bring you on. You didn't bring me on, but you like this game a lot. We all argued over this and the number 2 game because it was kind of we knew what the top 3 were, but we had to deliberate on what to decide to give it to you. You kind of almost spoiled the game, right?
I did.
Our sweaters both give it away.
That's why I covered up my sweater before the stream, but here it is now. This is completely coincidental, by the way. My wife bought me this. She didn't decide on number 3.
Blame your wife. The T-Rexes are in Mario as well, Justin.
And
you
I
both
just like
spoiled
dinosaurs. I was not intentionally...
Buff Santa's not in it, so I can't be blamed for anything.
Buff Santa's in Star Wars.
But anyway, Super Mario Odyssey, obviously the next in the long-running series of one of the most iconic characters in video games, specifically one of the 3D platformers. What does this game do, Justin, that kind of pushed the 3D Mario, or the 3D platformers, like evolved it, so to speak?
This was a really hard decision to make, especially in a year like 2017. And you would think, like a traditional platformer, it's not going to live up. And like I thought as well that like Mario's going to be in the top 10, but getting as high as it did for number 3, the thing that I think really catapulted is both the new mechanics that it introduced. Like it's really fun to take control of other characters, to use the hat in kind of a really, not necessarily innovative, but a really different way for a Mario game, but also that it just encapsulates fun. Like it is joy in a disc.
Encapsulates fun.
It puts it into a pill and you eat it.
Yeah. But yeah, the puns are already rolling. We're watching B-roll of New Donk City right here. Randy, like all the different kingdoms you go to are kind of, this is the first time you see real people, or what are that you would assume are real people.
Yeah,
real people.
Yeah,
people.
Billions, and there's a lot of weird stuff going on in this game. But how do those mechanics kind of coalesce to actually make the gameplay and the world design feel like, you know, like you're collecting power moons in this. Usually it's like stars or shines or what have you. But you're collecting power moons in this, and you were talking earlier before we went live about how it's more of a steady stream of them rather than like one that takes a while to get and then you go to the next one. It's kind of the stream of like dopamine releases.
I think in terms of like game design, they've made a lot of sort of moves to make it more accessible to on-the-go play, which the Switch is excellent at. And yeah, as you said, you know, moons in this. There's like what, 800, more than 800 moons in the game.
33, I think.
Yeah, so you're only ever like 1 or 2 minutes away from actually finding something. And then the world is designed, you know, all the different sort of like kingdoms are designed in such a way that, you know, like anywhere that you look if you go in that direction, you'll probably find something that is interesting or a moon that you can achieve. I played this game. I think the bulk of this game I played while I was on a bus, to and from work. And it always felt like I was actually achieving something, that I'd made a lot of progress every time I actually touched this game.
It's almost like a mobile-like experience.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, Pete, you reviewed this, gave it one of the 3 10 out of 10s at GameSpot, which means it's essential. What was it about what makes this game essential? You were talking about how like the difficulty, because the game, much of the platforming isn't difficult in itself until you get to later stages. You were saying it's difficult in a different way, kind of the way it forces you to, encourages you to look at the world.
Yeah, as Randy was saying, pick a direction, go there, you'll find something, but you slowly learn that there are certain rules at play, and manipulating the camera in such a way can help you look at the world differently, and it's a lot about deciding like what your surroundings are and what you're capable of achieving, with Mario's skills, and sometimes obviously using Cappy to look beyond Mario's skills and see how the enemies in the environment help. It's not difficult in that it's challenging. It's difficult in that it challenges you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Justin, like we're looking at Tostarena Town in the Desert Kingdom. Or, I mean, this is the Desert Kingdom. Tostarena Town's off to the left somewhere. But one thing this game does also, it like gives you these sandboxes rather than these discrete levels. Obviously, in older Marios, oftentimes, there were open world aspects, or at least small sandbox open world aspects. But this very much encourages you to just go explore. And that kind of ties into the fact that you can find power moons left and right, anywhere you want. How did you feel that the sandbox design of the worlds contributed to the overall experience?
Yeah, like Randy said, it's a lot of fun. It just keeps pulling you along. Like I think other Mario games, it felt like you would go into a level and you have a distinct star that you're going for, and maybe there's some other side things that you'd go along. But here, it's like it's a sense of discovery. Everything that you find, you're like, as you're going along, you're like, here's what I think I'm gonna do, and then you get pulled on. You say, well, I see something else. Let me try to go do that really quickly, and like it just adds to that. I'm gonna keep playing like just one more, like I guess a Pringles type feel. Like I can't stop. I want to keep grabbing more moons.
Yeah, also the variety of activities that you're doing. I mean, like the variety is in itself is sometimes used as a buzzword just to describe a game as being fun. But this one, like, I mean, you throw your cap at like a pterodactyl to start gliding around, but then in like 5 minutes later, you're doing this infuriating mini game where the guy shows you the steps you're supposed to take, the pattern, and then they disappear after a while. So you have to kind of.
It was fun.
It was fun. No, it was real. I thought it was fun, but I sucked at it. The circle one in the desert. It took me like 6 tries, and I literally had to start walking and then just keep the analog stick at that certain angle. But did you find that the variety of quests or missions or just Power Moon challenges were kind of enough to keep you going from one to the next, Randy?
I did, yeah, and I think one of the sort of the best things about this too is you can play this game in a variety of different ways, and I think accessibility is one of the key things in this thing, right? I think this game in some quarters has been criticized for being a little bit too safe with the Mario formula, right? Like it didn't actually push, what Mario is capable of in the same way that other games, push their genres. But I think in the ways that it did push, there were really smart ways. Just having no lives, for example, in this one is like a critical change to how Mario does things. Cappy and the ability to have it was like a few dozen different forms, throughout the game. Being able to buy moons, I think is such an interesting way to try and, make you keep up with other people whose skill levels may be higher than yours. If you want to see more of the end game or later stages, you don't necessarily have to go and get all the moons and, in each of the worlds. You can just buy your way through it. It does like so many new interesting things that makes it, I think, the most accessible Mario's ever been.
I think it's really interesting as well that it doesn't unlock new abilities. Like you go to all these new worlds, you have the same skill set from the very beginning of the game. The things you're buying are completely cosmetic, but you're kind of driven along. You're like, no, I want to unlock this new silly costume or put together a new combination. But no matter what, from the beginning of the game to the end of the game, you have the same skill set.
Yeah, and then also the economy kind of actually, it does push you through the game, but like also in terms of the world design, I feel like, well, without spoiling anything, Pete, like the story does do different things here. That's not usually the main focus of a 3D Mario game. It's kind of one of the most rote narratives in games, I would say.
Sure.
This does do different things with it, however minor, or they might be, are they even minor? Is that right?
Well, it doesn't make a big deal about it,
yeah.
but it certainly plays with your expectations a little bit. And that's when the story is complete, but then like the game opens up to be even broader. So the story again is really not the focus, but it does just sort of remind you that, hey, things are a little bit different now. And the way that they do sort of tinker with your expectations of the narrative pays off, even though it's not like a major change. I mean, well, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah. Again, we don't want to spoil it. We're going to be streaming in a few minutes of the game itself, and we might spoil it then. But in general, Justin, what's the number one thing that stuck with you about Mario ever since its October 27th release? You play a lot of Mario games, especially like 3D Mario games. What was it that made this something you wanted to argue for?
In 2017, there's so many amazing games. Like I think this is like one of the hardest Game of the Year discussions we've had in almost 10 years. But Mario stood out just because it really does capture the essence of fun. Like it is just fun in the perfect way. It's like Nintendo nails that with their video games. And Mario, I think, can sometimes be a little formulaic. But this one, it just felt like the right game at the right time to just sit back and enjoy the ride. It was an action-adventure fun movie. And maybe it won't be something that resonates for 20 years down the line, but I think no matter what, like capturing that essence of fun is such a Nintendo thing and something that was just so needed in 2017.
For me, I always bring, like, the angle I bring into our GameSpot Game of the Year discussions is always the old man dad vote.
Yeah.
And for me, like you mentioned, it may not, have that resonance in 20 years. I actually think it might because, I played this with my 8-year-old son. And he essentially played this entire game solo. I tried to help him, as much as I could, but he managed to actually get to the end, defeat the final boss, and now he's going through all the extra challenges, all on his own. And it was only until halfway through that he realized he could actually turn assist mode on. So, in terms of, impact on, someone who's younger, I think this is this generation Super Mario 64, right? This is the game that, my son will remember in 20 years' time as the game that got him into Mario.
Sure.
And it's only like a much stronger argument for the Nintendo Switch, as if it needed any more this year. It's almost like another case for Nintendo making a huge comeback in 2017.
It's crazy where the Switch is at right now. I think we all saw Zelda and Mario coming, and we knew that there were other games arriving, but it's crazy to look back now, or at least just look at my Switch menu and be like, wow, there are more games I want to play this second on my Switch than on any other platform.
If you'd have told me that a Nintendo platform would be my preferred console of 2017, I probably would not have believed you a year ago.
Don't believe it.
Yeah, now it makes sense. Anyway, Super Mario Odyssey is GameSpot's number 3 game of 2017. If you're watching this on YouTube or GameSpot after we talked about it live, go catch up on the rest of our Game of the Year. We went Nier Automata, What Remains of Edith Finch, Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, Wolfenstein 2, The New Order, Horizon Zero Dawn, Divinity Original Sin 2, and Resident Evil 7. We have not announced the next 2 yet. We will do that shortly if you're watching this live, but go catch up on that. And we are going to stream Super Mario Odyssey right now for a little bit before we announce our number 2 game, so stick around. Unless you don't want something spoiled, because we're going to play a late game stage, or no? You're in New Donk City. Okay, cool. So we'll try not to spoil it at this point because we're showing something that they've been showing at E3 for years now. All right, Justin, let's jump right in.
Yeah, so we're in New Donk City here. I'm not even going to go into the menu that shows off the stages because if you haven't beaten it yet, that can be a little bit spoilery. But this had one of my favorite levels.
This is one of the more. What were you saying, Randy?
Do we consider costumes spoilery? Showing off some of that?
No major spoilers, I'd say, but costumes are fine.
Yeah.
Diddy Kong costume.
Okay, there you go. Do the Diddy Kong costume if you can get it. You have it in this? Is this your save, Pete?
Yeah.
Okay.
You'd have most of them, right?
I have most of them. I think I'm missing the skeleton, which takes 9,999 coins. I think maybe one other. Yeah, it's a lot to play with.
I was telling you guys, one of the best things about this was, I've played this for countless hours, and I'm still discovering new things. My son showed me another way to get into the Odyssey the other day that I never actually saw before.
How?
There's a porthole on the top of it.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, Randy didn't know you could go around the pipe at the back.
I didn't know you could go around the pipe. No.
Around the pipe of the Odyssey?
Yeah, at the back. There's a pipe that you can go in.
You had the hat correct the first time,
was
but
that?
yeah, it's the one with the long bill.
Oh yeah, Diddy Kong hat. There we go.
Yeah! This is really cute.
And his feet slap on the ground when he runs in this outfit.
Sounds like PUBG.
I haven't played PUBG.
People who take their shoes off so they don't make as much noise, but it makes like a slapping noise.
Tight.
So if you can go up here,
Yeah.
yeah, I only discovered this 2 days ago. And he was trying to tell me, and I went, you can't tell me anything that I don't know about this game.
Oh, you can go down the
And then
pipe
he
in the
did.
back too.
Yeah.
I didn't actually know about that flip top
Yeah.
on the top.
You have to have a lot of ways to get out of this.
Oh, whoops.
You don't want to be trapped.
It's sleeping.
Where am I?
Oh boy. And you can go.
So New Donk City has like one of the quests, you might say, that a lot of people are talking about.
Everyone's
the
talking about it.
parade.
Everyone's
The
talking
parade.
about it.
Everyone. Saw Trump tweet about it. New Donk City, great level,
Yeah.
superior structure.
No, it's that sort of like ode to the original sort of Donkey Kong level.
Well, I mean, the first appearance of Mario, more or less,
Yeah.
right?
Is the villain? No, Donkey Kong is the villain. Never mind.
Yeah, and it's a pretty resounding like moment. Like you sort of you really do like get once that happens, you really get the sense that that's what this is. This is just a massive celebration of Mario's past.
Did you find it a little bit too self-congratulatory, though? Fireworks, the big song.
But that's fun, right? Isn't that fun?
Yeah, I thought so.
Like
Yeah.
that to me reminds me of something you'd see at like Magical Kingdom, Disney World, right? You know, like the way they always advertise that, like come to Disney World and what, and they have that sort of thing going on. Like it's just the pageantry of it all was really fun. Like I don't really think you ever see Mario as Mario games like embrace themselves in that way. You don't see many games like self-awarely embrace what they are and what they've been. So.
Mario Odyssey in general seems to be a celebration of Mario games.
Yeah.
Almost like Resident Evil 7 was of Resident Evil games. And Zelda was of Zelda games, I guess. Well, no, actually, not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think Justin started off this conversation saying, this has been the year for nostalgia. And yeah, like this game fully embraces its nostalgia. And I think that's why, it's connected with so many people.
Yeah, but that's I always, whenever that comes up, want to reiterate that like there is so much more to this game than just nostalgia. I mean, it really is all the the level design, the dense and intelligent level design we were describing earlier. But it's also the incredibly refined mechanics that continue to just prove that Nintendo knows better than the rest when it comes to the sort of things that Mario's capable of. I can't think of a game that feels as good, like a 3D platformer that feels as good as this. And you could have said that for Mario Galaxy. You could have said that for Mario 64 at the time. And they just they keep dialing in that feel. And it's weird because like there's no missteps, even though they added things. Like there's nothing that feels broken or bad. Like they take their time with their games, and there's a reason why.
I never noticed it before, but there's other ships like the Odyssey in the skyline.
Some weird lore.
Yeah, all those things. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, like half hot air balloons. Weird.
Those are other
It's like
players.
Dark Souls, yeah, it's other players.
They're the souls of other Mario
Notes,
players.
jump off this
Yeah.
ledge.
And that's an example of, just exploring and finding stuff, right?
How did they get up here?
There's an elevator
Well,
that you're just not allowed to use.
They're snails. They just probably crawled up the side,
Yeah,
right?
very
Yeah,
slow.
good point.
slow.
This dude rode that snail up here.
It's like never-ending
Side
story.
note, I like
It's a
that
date.
wait, can you look around the skyline quick?
It's a date. They met on Tinder.
Or no, like, oh, never mind. Okay, so over there, the Chrysler Building is the tallest.
Yeah,
They just straight up use the Chrysler Building.
like straight.
Well, Empire
up.
State Building is right behind you, right? Yeah.
Oh!
See,
Speaking of, there's a moon. Hey.
I did not. That was not calculated.
Yeah.
probably.
From
And
the
that was to
umbrella.
your
Yeah, you
point,
can get
Pete, about just moving the camera around.
Right,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like here we were. We had no idea.
Let's just remember who led you to that. Just kidding. I don't need credit, but it would be nice.
Was it you? Did you know it was there the whole time,
Yeah,
Mike?
that's why I was
that was a
talking
real.
about
That
the
was a
skyline.
real subtle play.
It started off me saying I liked the Chrysler Building, the tallest building on the
Yeah.
skyline, but I forgot the Empire State Building's over here.
Hint,
Chrysler
hint.
Building's the best looking skyscraper in New York.
Whoa, controversial.
People will be so pissed. Let alone that Mario Odyssey is number 3. Mike just said Chrysler Building is the best skyscraper in New York. What a
Go
I
across.
love these things
Go
so
across.
much.
What, those
marshmallows?
fat seal things?
The pylons.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I love those fat seal things too.
Why is that one in the corner?
Those are cute. They're
He's
having a
scared.
fight.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's like, how will we get down? I've never been up so high.
I don't like heights either,
They've
buddy.
got a Blair Witch Project thing going on.
Mike? That guy's name was Mike. Stared into the corner. They did that in Resident Evil 7 too.
What, just name characters after you?
No, it's a dude who's, he looks like he's standing in the corner, and then you go up and pull him, and his face was through a rusty pipe.
Oh,
Rusty pipe was
okay.
through his face.
I don't think they're going to do that with Mario, though.
You'd be surprised. What if they
Yeah,
made
actually.
Mario into a horror franchise? That'd be a really big turnaround.
Well, you know,
Well, they
that,
have Luigi's Mansion.
that is true.
I guess so.
I hated these mosquitoes. Oh, is that what you're saying? The flick?
What? So I play mostly with the Joy-Con, but Peter was saying that you can. Do you just flick from nowhere? No.
But you're,
There we go.
yeah, well, I mean, try going like you're throwing a frisbee. You're doing like a whole vertical thing.
That is how I throw a frisbee.
There you go.
This is just like.
And then, yeah, because people are saying, I mean, one of the minor criticisms at the beginning that some people had was that it's too reliant on, or like at some points it becomes too reliant on motion controls, but you could do that hat spin on an analog.
There's like one or two things
Yeah.
that you can't do
Yeah.
with just controls, but I find that argument bullshit because look, there's like a couple moons that require you to do that.
Yeah.
Out of 833.
What if you're a completionist?
A completionist?
Is that what I said?
That's what it sounded like.
You're just being defensive.
Then I think you should take the 5 seconds to do it and stop complaining. I'm sorry, it just seems like we can nitpick about everything if we want to, but that's just like ignoring the
Not in
awesome
Pete's
things.
house.
Yeah.
What a dangerous building. Is it under repair, renovations?
It's just city
It's-
life, man.
Yeah, if you go to like some back alleys in San Francisco,
It's exactly like this.
some of the places I've lived are kind of like this.
I'm trying to remember
Oh,
where
now
you're
you've
going
done
with
it.
this.
You're supposed to be going up. I'm going the opposite.
Going the
direction.
opposite direction. All right.
So, have you guys gotten 999 moons? Is that something that you're actually going to try for in this?
833?
The 833 is the max. Getting 999 doesn't.
What?
That'd be.
No, there's 999.
Oh.
They're 100% 999 stars or moons.
Should
no,
have corrected
no,
him
no,
earlier.
no, not in the world. There aren't. You have to buy them.
Oh, yeah.
That's the max number you can have?
Yes.
If you bought them all?
Yeah, sure, you're right. But I'm saying, yeah.
What if
Th-
you
then
buy
just
them to the point that you get 999, then you start finding the other ones in the world? Would it stick at 99?
I believe so.
Yeah.
And it's 100 coins per moon, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Coins are not that plentiful.
Do you want to show off? We could, like, I know you didn't want to show the world select. We could have Jean-Luc bring it back to us. If you picked like Toast Arena Town, might be a good one to show.
Sure.
You want to do that? Jean-Luc, once we get to the Odyssey, could you come back to us on the wide before we show Toast Arena Town? I think he said yes.
Did you guys play much in two-player mode?
No.
Me and Rob play a little bit, and it's surprisingly different, actually. Cappy is his own sentient character that the second player can control, and that includes trolling Mario, if you really want to. It's actually really fun. I'd be curious to do that in the long run. Have you and Sebastian done that a lot?
We have been, but I try not to do that because he always makes me play Mario so he can just tool around as Cappy. And I'm trying to develop his skills, you know.
You got to make him a true gamer.
You know, to make him a true gamer.
Too casual.
One-
I
one-
played Galaxy a
One of
lot.
the best moments I had in this game was realizing that those little street lights are actually blocks.
yeah.
Yeah.
What were you saying about Galaxy?
Galaxy I play like co-op when you're just, I mean, the second player is just literally collecting this.
Yeah.
The gloom,
The moon bits.
gleams,
Yeah.
glooms?
Yeah.
No,
They're just little star
the stars.
fragments.
All right, yeah, if you can come back to the wide once we go into the world select, Jean-Luc.
Okay. we're
Toast
back
Arena
on
Town,
wide.
does that sound good?
Yep. 20.
Desert Kingdom?
That one was shown off, as was New Donk
Yeah.
City, quite a bit.
So maybe something
Do we want to go somewhere
earlier, like Lost Kingdom or...
Let's take a look.
I could, yeah. I kind of want to go to the 4-letter one.
Yeah, what's the statute of limitations on spoilers now?
I mean, like I said, light spoiler warning. I guess light. How about
We could also.
How about Lake Kingdom? Or Wood? No, can we do Wooded Kingdom strictly for the music?
Yeah, Wooded Kingdom's
Okay,
pretty
we
Yeah.
do Wooded Kingdom.
We can go down to that hidden area as well.
Yeah, with the
I think we're good now.
That's a spoiler.
Thank you, Jean-Luc.
Is it
is it a spoiler?
What is?
the dark area?
Yeah. And like
this?
when you
With
go
the flower?
down.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you go down, well, it's got the
The boss.
Well, the dinosaur.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
There's a boss. Oh, he's up. The boss that you fight in the Wooded Kingdom.
Yeah, no. I'm talking about
Oh.
there's a secret place you can jump off a wall and you end up in this like sub forest.
Oh, I didn't do
That's
that.
like real dark.
Yeah.
And
there's
there's
a
There's an exclusive enemy down there
Yeah.
that is actually you don't want. You can ignore him, but if you try to embody him, like he does something cool, but then you realize like, oh shit, it's costing me to do
Wait,
this
you
cool
mean
thing.
just this one, right?
I think that's
Yeah.
that's how
You
you
can just
do
get
it,
that
that's the one.
anywhere.
What? I have never seen
Oh,
this.
you can fall off from
Oh,
anywhere?
shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way. Or the easy way.
Down in the deep woods, dark woods.
Have you gotten the moons?
Yeah. No, it's no. It's not. I don't think it's a big spoiler. It's just a.
Okay.
Have you gotten the moons on this?
I've
the
gotten a
moons in
few,
this?
yeah. Where is he?
This was
kill him?
super eerie when I first got
Oh
here.
yeah.
It's so quiet.
Especially when
speaking of-
juxtaposed against like the Beach Boys soundtrack up on top.
It's a trap.
Is it a Star Trek joke?
You watch
It's
it.
Star Trek.
Where is
Well, you can see
He's
the
coming.
screen
Yeah, he's
shaking
coming.
a little bit.
Yeah,
Oh no,
this
I'm looking
is
for the coin coffer.
The
Not,
sh-
not the
the sh-
dinosaur.
wait, the
This
screen's
is-
just shaking?
this is very Jurassic Park. Look at the water. It's not really doing much, but
Yeah, the water looks normal.
yeah, that coin guy.
Yeah.
You just follow him, right?
You just follow him?
Follow him. Does he?
Well, no. I mean, you can take him over and use his abilities as an attack, but it is at the cost of
Coins.
yeah.
I have a really
But it's a
early
really
morning.
fun thing to watch.
I have a really early morning flight tomorrow. I might just
Do you need to go?
play this for 6 hours. Yeah. So I'm out.
Find the coin coffer.
Randy,
I really,
take over.
I really want to do that. I think he's over there.
That's him.
Oh,
Donkey
no,
Kong
shit.
64 had
That
a
is not
Dark
him.
He
Woods
looks
thing.
kinda like that
He's,
guy.
from what I remember, he's like bottom left of this map. So actually, no, yeah, like keep heading towards there. He's around here somewhere. Yeah, there he is, right in front of me.
Whoa!
Go get him.
Oh, that's who you're talking about?
No, that's what Randy was referring to, I think. But I'm talking about the coin coffer, who's literally like a change purse.
Get him. Get him.
He costs you coins when you possess him? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, he attacked. Making me explain it. We can't show it.
Yeah.
He basically attacks by spitting out coins.
But
it
he
looks
uses
really
your
cool.
coins.
Yeah,
I thought
he
those
uses
were
your
random.
coins. No.
I know someone else that does that in a popular franchise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Spoilers?
I'm not going to say what it is
Yeah.
at all, but. So the yellow Goombas, why are they yellow down here?
Because when you hit them, they pop out coins.
No, son.
Oh, good call.
That's why.
They just have different pigments.
Where you at, coin coffer?
Where are
Did you
you?
kill him?
No, he's definitely down here somewhere.
Okay.
Where is that guy?
I really like.
Oh, wait.
This is like
Go
my
to the left.
favorite. No, not this.
Oh,
but
no, okay.
the dudes, when you shake, they go up on the two vines. Those are my
Oh, yeah.
favorite guys to possess.
They're like onions,
flip.
right?
Something
Is that
like
a guy?
that.
Yeah.
They got like
Grunion.
beanstalks that come out. They're like
Yeah.
legumes with legs.
I want to say he was around here.
How do you knock off? Like, I know
How do you
you
even
can
know
take
where you
control of
are?
him. You can take control of him. How do you knock his hat off?
I did it by getting one of those destructible platforms near the top of this level and just getting him to attack those, and eventually he'll stun himself. So
Dang.
first you need to get his attention.
Well, we might be wasting our time looking for the coin coffer.
Oh, there you
Wait,
go.
that's new?
Go get it.
I didn't have it.
Go get it. Other way.
Thought you reviewed this game.
Straight up. Straight up.
Oh, there it is.
Just kidding.
I'm not
God
gonna make
damn
that.
it.
You're not gonna, you are not going to make that. Do it again.
Give me the hat back.
The
Do
long
it.
jump is one of my favorite things in games. The ZA.
That was that.
Just like that.
Not that either.
I know. There.
You got it. Just
You
go.
may not. You may not.
What are you doing?
This is infuriating. I think he's doing it on purpose.
But seriously, do that again.
Let's go back up to the oil rig or
Hey,
whatever it
get
is.
that- get
the
that moon.
pine.
Get that
If you
moon and then
can.
go back up.
For Pete's save.
Uh-oh.
Get it?
Now
Like
you've
a
lost
Pete's
yourself.
sake.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
you're
I got
going.
turned back.
There it is.
There
There,
it
It's
okay,
just
there
bad
it is.
TV.
You're not going to make it.
I'm getting too old for this.
All right,
I am
climb
too old
up.
for this.
Climb up.
How do you climb out?
Where,
Fine.
where'd I
You
put that
fine.
vine?
Where he threw the seed.
There,
There's
yeah,
one.
you just go up there.
Where'd you plant your seed?
In Mario.
I'm getting too old for this.
I want to hear that music.
Muzak.
I want to hear that bass
pretty
when I
good.
wake up.
My favorite song is in, I think it's The Lost Kingdom. It's got this sort of percussive timpani where the
There are those guys.
rhythm is sort of offset, but then it like rejoins itself and harmonizes. It's super cool.
Go onion guy.
I love these.
Yeah, these are my favorite guys.
When you're climbing up the, just the jump you do at the end when you, yeah. What would you call the facility? Like a logging thing?
Something.
That sounds
They're
about right.
flowers, aren't they? Aren't they growing flowers? Isn't that the whole thing?
Yeah.
But there's all that metal. That has to do with anything. But
I'd call it more funk.
more funk?
Yeah. It's not metal music.
What? I thought you were talking about the. Oh, god damn it.
It's like this
Once you go into
60s
that,
shit
once you go into that
chimes
tree,
in. I love it.
there's bound to be moons in there.
I really like these levels.
Let's
These
see
sort
how
of, like,
completionist
plasticky-
Pete is.
This is where the game can get tough.
Yeah.
These kind of spin-off levels.
Yeah.
There's that one, I think it's called Strange Neighborhood, where the houses are tilting and you have to go all the way to the end, throw Cappy back, so you can't use him afterwards to jump, and then you have to,
Uh-oh.
and
Yeah,
then
I
you
thi-
have to do Goombas, but you have to get 6 of them by jumping back
Right.
across the houses. It was tough.
Oh, okay.
I think it was one of the rocket launchers into space from Toaster Arena Town.
And speaking of spoilers, you don't actually get these levels until you complete the game.
You complete the
Complete
story.
the story, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, now I'm talking about different things then. There it is.
Look
Justin's
out.
just cleaning up for it. Well, not really, actually. He didn't get that last one.
Cool. Hey, you play this game in 5 days and review it. Be my guest.
Damn it.
Doesn't in this one doesn't the big bullet bill come from behind you? In this one?
This stage?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't played it, so
Oh, okay.
As
Look,
evidenced by the
look
moon.
behind you when you get that key.
that bullet came from the moon.
Don't you do it, you dog!
And now you're just showing off.
Oh,
Yep, there he is. Get him. No, take him.
no.
Take him.
Why did you do that? What? You can't take him. He has a big hat on.
Take him. I'm sure you can
All right,
take him.
all
You can
right.
take
Hit
him.
him twice.
You can take him.
I thought that I saw
I don't
him.
think it's gonna work.
Yeah, hit him twice.
Won't that defeat the purpose of the level?
They
all got hats
no,
on.
no, because there's something at the other end that you need him for. I could be incorrect, but just try
Oh,
it.
you're right.
Yeah, there you go.
So I need to go back this way.
Nope, no, no.
I thought you said there was something better at the other
Other
end.
way. Yeah, straight,
Speed.
straight down there. Straight down there. Jump down. There's a. Okay. There's another moon underneath that the blue structure there. I think that you could.
That I've unlocked.
I think so. Yeah. You,
Oh,
you
shit.
need to aim. Maybe.
Can you go off the x-axis
strats.
with those? Bullet bills, can you change planes?
I don't know. Like from what I recall, I use the big dude to actually get there.
No, there's a smaller one that comes.
Can you go down? Yeah, you can. There you go.
And you're not, are
I know
you?
you can't.
No.
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 I think there's a different one at the end of the other side.
Ah, whatever.
There's a different one.
There's a like
Like a
where the
lower
big
one?
guy gets you. You can go down on that side, and there's
Right. Okay.
fires.
Oh well, you did it. Congratulations, Justin.
This isn't my game. I don't want to collect everything.
How
guys
many,
take my
how many
Switch,
moons
that's
do you have?
520.
520?
Well,
Christ,
520.
I'm only at like 100, I think, if that.
Jerk.
You're only at 100?
Something like that, yeah.
Because you even.
You can technically complete the story on 120? What is it?
Yeah.
Like, what's the minimum you need for that?
Yeah,
think it's
something about
120.
that. Around that.
Then the game is quickly like, hey, we need 250. Hey, we need 500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 500 is the last hurdle, right?
In terms of opening up the game, yeah.
Right. These guys are cool. Why are there so many moons you haven't seen yet?
Well, these are the...
These are the extra ones after you. Right.
Well, no, like I got that one.
I'm sure you got this one, right?
No, because I think those would be transparent.
Oh, would they be transparent if you already collected it?
Yeah.
Right. Good work, Justin. These guys are the best.
Yeah. I like climbing up that tower with them.
The one thing
And
I wish is that you could take enemies into different worlds. Like you could retain that power. Like see what you could do with these guys in New Donk, right? That'd be good.
Actually, I really like the boss fight at the end of this where you have to use those onion
Yeah.
guys.
I did not like the New Donk City tank boss fight.
It was a bit arduous.
I feel like it relied too much on, well, I mean, you could turn it off, but I feel like it, yeah, aiming, I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it the one with the giant caterpillar
Yeah, in the
thing?
building, yeah.
Yeah.
But I liked the tanks when they first given to you. I also really like these. There's a lot to say
And
about
there's
that.
another little mini boss at the top of this. Is that right?
Isn't it like the, I thought it was a flying saucer. Or no,
Yeah,
you
yeah, I
have to
think
fight
that
one of
was
those,
it. Yeah,
you
yeah.
have to fight one of Bowser's minion dudes. Or bridal party, whatever you want to call them.
The Brutals? The big rabbit things? Is that what
Brutals.
you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you trying to get to?
Heaven.
Oh yeah, you need fire to cook with.
How do you,
There's a fire guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, up,
possess
yeah.
the
If you go up
fire.
up the side there. But you can't get to it from here though, right?
what was that snail doing?
Just living, man.
Is he screaming? Oh, singing.
A lot of characters just staring at walls in this game.
He's in the shower, basically. We're watching him shower. You're a bit of a voyeur.
Metal Gear
Mario's
Solid
always
5.
been a little weird.
Actually, this is one of the things I do love about this game is when you do complete it, you see all these characters who are just in their separate worlds start moving around like they're tourists.
Yeah. Like Toad. It's
Yeah.
really, in the Lake Kingdom, when you find Toad at the bottom of that really long tunnel or pipe, and he's just stuck down there camping, that's horrifying. You'd have
He's
to,
cool with it,
if you
though?
were going to swim up that high, you'd have to hold your breath. Well, A, the pressure would destroy your ears and your capillaries, but
This is Captain Toad, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I know I'm thinking too much about it, but it
Well,
haunted me.
The Australians say capillaries.
Do they really?
Really? Capillaries or capillaries?
No, caterpillars.
Oh, here.
That's how
Australians,
we pronounce it.
Australians like, where's the car? New Zealanders, they're like, where's the car?
I don't understand what you're saying. I'm not from Australia.
It's from
It's from Flight of the Conchords.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
We're not New Zealanders. Australians are like, where's the car? New Zealanders, they're like, where's the car?
Oh, what am I doing now?
No, this is where you've been before, right?
Yeah, I accidentally flung myself over that.
Yeah, at the top there is that other sort of like flying saucer mini boss thing, right?
I can.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Can you warp there?
Yeah, the flag.
No,
You can warp
can't.
to that flag.
Is that at the top?
Warp there.
It's on the way up.
Warp there.
Warp.
Warp there.
I have fun with language too.
I'll try and be more American for you guys.
Okay, first tip: no one says warp.
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 How do you
I
pronounce?
think I'm saying it right.
How do you
Warp.
pronounce
Warp.
the circular bread things?
Donuts.
The less sweet ones.
Bagels.
Okay, good. Are you a bagel person?
Hell no.
Those people exist. They are out there.
Yeah, I know.
Bagel?
We
I've
eat
never
them.
heard
I used
that.
to bake bagels in
if we
college.
had my way, we would root them all out and round them up and
Cover them
send them
in,
to an island
in
somewhere.
sesame seeds and poppy seeds and maybe add some.
Make them feel like a
some
bagel.
lox.
I have not seen
I'm getting
this.
hungry.
Huh.
Make your life more difficult.
Yeah, I was like, quite.
Oh. Oh, I see.
It's an homage to Splatoon.
Maybe you should.
I don't see your end game here.
Which Joey pronounces Splatoon.
Yep. Splatoon. It's like two words.
Splatoon.
Splatoon.
Splitting.
Careful.
Splatoon.
Splatoon,
I
mate.
do have to ask. I don't want to be a backseat driver. Why are you cleaning up the paint?
Because it's poisonous.
Oh, that's right. I was like, you are making it
It is,
harder
it
to
is.
see. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Sorry.
And that's an edge, so you need to jump.
I was gonna grab it. It's slippery,
I forgot that was poisonous. You just make
right?
it.
It hurts you when you step on it.
Yeah, it
I
does.
think you're right.
Yeah, just
Oh,
gotta
no,
make
that was a
sure.
fluke though. Double check.
Yeah,
Triple check.
I think that was a glitch. You should get into it.
Squinty bonnie bonnie. Squinty bonnie boom boom.
I really. Do you guys want them to make another Mario game in this vein, or do you want them to go back to any old style? Like I feel like I'm not sure. Like I want more of this, but I need them to go like really far out there in terms of the settings.
I'd be on board for a sequel of this before they do something else. Little Mario with a 1-2 Galaxy Punch. Galaxy, do you like Galaxy 1 or 2 better? I mean, it's hard to compare them. They're kind of the same thing, but
Yeah, I can't choose,
I like
man.
two.
Yeah,
I think everyone
one.
chooses two, but
Yeah.
I personally have a really hard time
Yeah.
saying that with like any sort of logic.
What's the cadence usually like though? Like, will they now go to a 2D
Well,
Mario after this?
They spent a lot of years sort of doing that 2.5D Mario thing
Yeah.
before they got to World. It did have Land.
well, that was also with the 3DS. Now it would have to be like it would be a Switch title, I would assume. Well, it definitely would, right?
Right,
Unless
yeah.
they announce some weird. New
I mean, I would
handheld.
hope Mario Maker comes to Switch. If that doesn't happen, if that doesn't
yeah.
happen, I'd
Yeah.
just be so confused.
That is
Yeah.
100% going to happen.
Would they do a
You'd
Mario
hope.
Maker 2 or just port the first one?
Well, maybe two. Actually, yeah, probably two. I think that would. Damn, you're smart.
And we haven't seen them do just straight ports at all yet on Switch, right? Like they've all, like Mario Kart 8 was Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. They've said Smash Brothers is
Get
not
up there.
just going to be Smash, it's
to the
going to
top.
be...
Of Nintendo properties, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're close. They're close to. I mean they're mostly ports. It's not like they're remastered in a way that's substantial. But yeah, like I just. They probably have to really before we get anything like Mario Maker. They really need to sort out their online. Like.
And you got one of
Oh,
those,
right,
yeah.
yeah, sharing all.
scenario.
There's Peach.
Yeah. What are you doing here, Peach? So that's that suitcase you got there.
You also have one of those flying lizard guys up here
So
as
much
well.
for spoilers.
What's spoiling anything? Asking questions.
Peach being
It's
here.
just Peach.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Wait, you're saying Mario wins in the end?
Yeah, beats Bowser.
Yeah, man.
Unheard of.
That is a spoiler.
69.
Nice. Oh.
Nice.
See, from here you can like
Kind of didn't think you'd get that last
get a
one.
good flyby.
Yeah, yeah. Could you do a little gliding with the Mr.
Yeah, what's that
Rodactyl?
guy's name? What is he? Screech! Screech, screech.
He's like a baby pterodactyl. He's kind of tough to control, like the Lost
A
Kingdom.
little bit. Yeah, when you have to land on a very specific platform in
There,
distance.
there should be, yeah. Oh, I think he's already got that one. Yeah, try for that.
Do it anyway.
Yeah, don't do that. Got a feeling you're not going to make this. Oh, no, you might.
Oh, he's
You
fine.
might still.
Yeah.
There you go.
As long as you don't let go
Wait,
of
is that Captain Toad? No. That's a Toad. Oh, it is Captain.
El
It
Capitan.
is Captain Toad.
Yeah, see, he's always in these like traps. It's
Well,
kind of
but it's not
hard.
like a different Toad every time. So he's clearly capable of moving to
Yeah.
and fro.
He knows stuff.
but how?
Well, there's a pipe right here. He knows how to control the pipes.
But then you have to deal with claustrophobia.
So you're coming around here, and you're like, oh, I found a new area. And like, no, Captain Toad's already been there.
Was that the whole point of that thing?
Oh, this guy?
Just to get you to Captain Toad? It's got to be another area that you can fly to here, right?
Probably.
Oh, fly straight to that boss.
$10 as you smash into that fence. Oh, never mind. Just kidding.
The flying saucer guy. All right.
Maybe I just thought it was a flying saucer because he's on this thing.
I would probably, yeah.
It's just a real jerk hat.
Yeah, you should get out of that. Start jumping on Goombas. Start jumping on Goombas. There you go. Now you can do
You can
it.
also throw your hat at the spikes, can't you? The spike balls.
I don't know.
Hit it back
This is
at
the
him.
only way I did it.
Doesn't matter. Want to call that a stream?
I'm bad at video.
Let's do it. Let's move on to our number 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we got to take some time to set up, so we'll be back in a little bit. But Justin, Randy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Get out of here.
We'll see you around. But yeah, we're gonna go back to just the standby screen while we swap out for a couple more guests, and then we'll announce our number 2 game. So please stick around. We'll be back in like 5-ish minutes. See you then. Hi, everybody, for real this time. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Welcome back to GameSpot's Best of 2017 Countdown. We just announced that Super Mario Odyssey was our number 3 game of 2017 as decided on by GameSpot's staff. I won't keep you waiting to get into this montage of a game that I'm sure will surprise everyone. Let's do it.
Trickster. Welcome to my velvet room.
It's not a game, I'm not a robot, and I challenge you. I'm not a man, I'm in your face, and I'm here to see it through. Right before your eyes, what just multiply? Got to memorize, it's
Thou hast acquired a new vow. It shall become the wings of rebellion that breaketh thy chains of captivity.
Persona 5 from Atlas is our number 2 game of 2017, so I brought on a bunch of Persona 5 fans. Michael Hyam, Jean-Luc Seipke jumped off the TriCaster to come talk about the game. And as always, Peter Brown.
I'm still here.
And yeah, a lot of people argued pretty vehemently for this game. Michael, you were one of them. Why does this deserve to be on our number 2 spot?
A lot of reasons, I'll tell you that.
Start with one.
Okay, I'll start with the themes it tackles.
Okay.
So the Persona 5 is very much about authority figures, about people in power who abuse their power and influence in very devious ways. And, you know, as these Japanese high school students, you put your foot down and you say, no, you're not getting away with that shit. And that's very powerful within itself, but the premise gets deeper and deeper. And what you soon realize it's sprinkled out throughout the game, but it kind of builds up to this notion that, you know, society's problems go much deeper than individual people. Like they can be like very shitty people. They can do terrible things, but like it goes deeper than that. Like only one person has so much power. And then what you soon kind of realize is that, you know, as a society, as a collective group of people, you know, you have to, you know, do something about it if you want to make changes. And that's kind of a central theme to the game is, you know, fighting for change. And then, you know, I was playing yesterday, and there's this moment where Morgana asks the main character, the cat.
Your sidekick.
Yeah, sidekick. The Teddy figure, I suppose, in Persona 5.
Way better than Teddy.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely ground that. But he asks you something, and he looks at you and says, why don't people do anything about the bad things that happen in this world? And you have 3 answers, and it's like, they can't. They don't have the power to, or they don't care, or they it's not beneficial to them to act out,
Or they're lazy.
Which
Which is pretty much the most universal human trait.
Yeah. And
Not
then
Sorry.
sure, yeah. No,
I got negative. No, I was saying, but like Jean-Luc, over the course of the game, as you're actually going into the premise is like as Phantom Thieves, you have the power to essentially go into people's minds, their subconscious, their kind of their mental layout, and you get to change their hearts, so to speak. But they're divided into separate dungeons in each person. It's almost like you're diving into each person's psyche. How do those dungeons play out over the course of the game? Are they how are they creatively laid out? Do they kind of morph over the course of the game? What do you think of them?
Yeah, I mean, they kind of take a different approach. The past Persona games have been using sort of like a randomized layout.
Like procedural dungeons.
Yeah,
almost?
procedural dungeons. And this game, they're much more intentionally laid out. And I almost kind of akin them to, sometimes they have like a Dark Souls sort of like the spiral kind of loop design,
Yeah.
where you have these save points, and then as you're going through the game, you will either get new save points, or sometimes you'll unlock shortcuts that go back to like the same
Yeah.
save point. There's this one dungeon that has like a central kind of like long chamber, and then each one kind of keeps looping back into that center. So they do clever things like that to kind of keep the dungeon layout interesting compared to the previous games. They also put a lot more like puzzles elements and stuff.
And this is my first Persona game ever, but it was one of my favorite games of 2017. But it did remind me of like a traditional Zelda dungeon, kind of like how each of them are specific theme. Like we're gonna play one in a little bit live stream, like a bank vault. It's laid out like a bank vault, and like the dungeon itself starts rearranging. And like the more modern Zelda is leaving Breath of the Wild aside, the dungeons do kind of loop back in on themselves. If it's like a puzzle box dungeon, if you watch like Mark Brown stuff about them on YouTube, but. What about the combat here, Michael, as far as figuring out certain enemies' weaknesses? Like, you know, like personae are like the things you can control. Each person has their own, and then Joker, the main character, he can control a bunch of them. You capture them, and then you can actually use them against the ones you encounter in these dungeons or in Mementos, the kind of just like, that's procedural in so far as that's what you're doing between dungeons. But how does the combat affect your notion of the game as you're going through it?
So this was also my first game in the line of Shin Megami Tensei games, but it's essentially at the foundation. It's a very similar combat system as you've seen in previous SMT games and Persona games, but it's very much refined in this way that, you know, it's when you're in battle, especially tough battles, it's almost trying to figure out a puzzle. Like, okay, this character, like in any really good turn-based RPG, you kind of have to figure out, okay, whose turn is it next? Do I need to heal a certain person who might be attacked or buff their stats? Or can I hit this particular enemy's weakness so I can get another turn?
Or give it to someone else, like tag them.
Yeah,
in.
and you can do a baton pass and pass it to someone else if you have your social link high enough, or confidant.
Yeah, it's
in
the
this
best
case.
feeling when you. Well, yeah, I want to talk about confidence. It's the best feeling when you have like 4 different enemies and you use like a shock weakness on one, pass it off to someone with a fire attack, and then you actually just pass the baton like 4 times. You can just keep going infinitely until they're dead.
Yeah, so knowing the enemy's weakness is kind of the key part of this particular turn-based system, because you get that extra turn and you can knock them down, and you know and sometimes you can't even figure out their weakness as well, especially in boss battles. So then you kind of have to think, okay, well, if I don't have that in my back pocket, you know, who do I need to buff? What items can I use to make sure that, you know, my characters don't die, or I can boost them so they can do even more damage before that enemy has their turn. So it's this constant puzzle that you have to figure out.
And then throughout, between the dungeons, you're preparing for each dungeon almost like you might a heist. You're kind of planning out, oh, we're gonna go in like this. Like you're building your team, and then you're also developing confidence. I want to ask Michael about that. But the everyday life in this Tokyo setting, Jean-Luc, when you're going between like batting cages or going to eat burgers, and everything you're doing is increasing your social stats. How does that part of the game complement the dungeons and the combat? Like this, you know, I would assume before I played the game that this would be the boring part, but that's not the case in this game.
No, I mean, I think there's a lot of people who would like prefer this part, will like put the game on easy because this is the part of the game they like to experience. I think they integrated a lot better in this one. So in previous Persona games, you would talk to your social links or confidants, and you would basically, as you rank up with them, it allows you to create more powerful personas, which gives you boost in combat. But in this one, they have more tangible benefits as well, where, okay, I want to hang out with this politician who's on the screen right now, and then doing so actually increases my chances of talking to the shadows and getting being able to like get more personas. And eventually you can do more benefits like that. Like there's characters, there's this amazing social link that I wish I had done more of, because this person gives you the ability to swap party members mid-battle.
Yeah.
Which opens up.
She's like not chess, but she's the board game
shogi player.
Professional shogi player.
Yeah, but like opening that up gave me like a whole new like suite of options in the combat. Like all of a sudden I'm like, okay, now I can I can try and like manage my SP better by being like, well, I can swap this character out with this character. This one's weak, and that becomes like really critical in boss battle. So I think they do a lot better job just like providing more for incentive to do those social links, and then just like that in turn like makes the combat like way more dynamic.
Yeah, and you touched on negotiations. Actually, I want to talk about those because you don't always have to fight people. In fact, a lot of times there are enemies you're better off negotiating with, talking with. You actually, I mean, you do start, I think you had mentioned, like, you do start to see through the cracks of how they work, like specific characters. You see the connection between what they say.
Yeah.
I will say that it still was a good change of pace from the fight, like figuring out, oh, they just said this, so that means they're kind of insecure. So then your next answer, the follow-up, almost you have to play on that in order to either become friends with them and make them trust you or make them intimidate them. It's almost like the psychoanalysis that makes the combat like a, not secondary, but it is a good change of pace from the combat.
Yeah, it keeps it interesting.
Yeah. What about the negotiations? Were you doing those often throughout the game, Michael?
I really like doing all-out attacks, so negotiations were kind of my secondary option. But you know, you can juice them for like even more money as well. Like as you get better speech skills from anime Bernie Sanders. And there, you can actually extort more money out of the enemies. So if like, oh man, I'm low on yen, but I want to buy new equipment for my party. It's like, yo, I'm just gonna keep asking them for more and more money. I didn't really use the one where you can ask them for items. Like I was just like ask for money to buy the items I want, and then like wielding their power to create more personas. It's almost like this Pokemon-esque kind of structure in that when you capture their persona, you can use their abilities, or you can fuse them in a very vicious manner. When you go to the Velvet Room, you literally like line them up on guillotines, chop their heads off,
or you
and then
hang
they
them
fuse.
to get like, what does hanging them do?
Hanging them transfers their power to a different persona.
To another persona. Okay.
Yeah, it's quite
It's
brutal,
pretty
but
dark.
Yeah.
Like the Velvet Room in general is always creepy as hell with Igor. The dude, the main,
your boy
because
since
he's
day
like a
one.
consistent character from the games, right?
He's been in since the first game.
But like as you're building confidants, Jean-Luc, some of them become party members. We don't have it on the screen right now, but in our room we see like Makoto, Yusuke, and then
work on your
and then An. Well, in my defense, this game.
No, the game says Yusuke.
They say Yusuke all the time.
That's the one they get right.
Oh, okay, whatever. But in my defense, this game did not help me with my Japanese, the North American acting at least. But Tamor Hussein told me I would be dead to him if I didn't mention and agree with him that Makoto is best girl.
Oh, she sure is, man.
Yeah, she's the student council president, and then like starts breaking out of that.
It's actually pronounced Makoto.
Yeah, Makoto. But
she starts breaking out of that shell. I'll let you guys pronounce the names from now on. I'll add color commentary. But like you're developing these confidants. Some of them just lend you skills, but others become party members. And thematically and narratively, it's interesting how they're real. I know this is nothing new for the series, but I really enjoyed how the parts of them that they suppress, despite the fact that it really does kind of dictate their personality, come out in the Phantom world, whatever you want to call it.
Metaverse.
Yeah, metaverse. I was gonna say upside down, just for the universal more thing. But did you have any favorite characters, or like what was it like building the relationships with these characters? Did you actually feel connected with them, or did you feel like it was just a gamified kind of thing?
No, you definitely feel connected with them, especially like because the game lets you choose like which ones you want to continue like developing further. So it's like, okay, like I'm actually pretty invested in Makoto's like relationship with her sister, and I kind of want to explore that further. And the game lets you.
Sorry.
So the game kind of like you get the stuff through the main story, and you get to kind of experience these characters, and but then also the game lets you like choose which ones you kind of want to like continue to explore and get to know better. And I mean, this game's long. It's like 100 hours, but by the end of it, I think the length works as far as like developing that relationship with those characters. Like it wouldn't mean nearly as much watching if it was just like a 20-hour thing, or even like a movie. Like they're doing an anime of it, and the anime, like they did one for 4 as well, and it was a good anime, but you don't get that same connection that you do like putting 100 hours into these characters
and deciding where to develop the relationships.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you as the player you feel like this is your connection to the characters. And like you said, my first playthrough was 120 hours, and when you get to like sit on those story beats and the developments of the relationships, you get to stop and think about this. Things aren't always happening. You get to stop and smell the roses, for lack of a better term. And I think that helps the character development. It helps you, care about your core cast and everyone else that you kind of helps you along the way. And I really felt connected to this game, and then it made me want to go back and play the other Persona games and see what they had to offer. And those things are there as well. I feel very connected to the cast of 4 and 3, and 5 being able to portray that even better and motivate someone to go back in the series is quite powerful to me.
And while we're watching the B-roll, just the sheer amazing fucking presentation in this game, between the soundtrack, the transitions. Jean-Luc, you used a few of them in your montage that you did that video earlier that we watched, and just everything about it just exudes like style. It's just the most confident game ever, and immediately it hooks you. Right away, I'm just super into the universe. I'm like, when I first started playing, I was like, whether I like this game or not, I respect what they're doing right now, and I ended up loving it. It was one of my favorite games of 2017. But the more I played it, the more I'm like, they just like, even like the characters, like when you meet specific characters, the way that the screens and the loading screens and the attack screens, like the all-out attacks change for whoever initiates the all-out attack based on like Ryuji's will be like a lot of punk stuff. Speaking of Ryuji, I do want to get into it. I did not like Ryuji at first, but this kind of encapsulates why I love this game. Throughout, I did a video essay earlier in the year about why this reignited my love for like Japanese-style RPGs. I absolutely love how it was constantly subverting my expectations and messing with RPG tropes in general. Like, Ryuji starts out as this angry punk kid.
He's a brat.
Yeah, he's a brat, and then you start to figure out, like, you start to hear his backstory. And of course, like, it's nothing new, making you empathize with characters you might not think you might. But Ryuji became my favorite character in the game outside of, like, people you meet later on. But it was just the way it actually subverted, like, it never felt like I was grinding, even though you kind of do have to at certain points. When it comes to mementos, you might have to, but I just never felt like I was wasting a day, despite the fact that there's time management. And this game was so good at subverting JRPG narrative tropes and gameplay tropes and like just RPG tropes in general that it was constantly keeping me guessing. Like, I don't know that any other game has. Did you find the same thing, Michael?
Yeah, definitely. I've played a lot of JRPGs in my time as well. I grew up on them at a very young age. But here, this is different because you almost have this like social simulator part to it, which is kind of what drives you to care about this world in many ways. And then so, you meet these characters first, and then you kind of have an initial impression. But of course, you dig deeper, and you learn about their desires, what drives them. And, for example, you said Ryuji, you kind of like, once you get to the end of his social link, you kind of understand like why he is the way he is and like how he can be better. Even like Makoto, her initial intro in the game is that she's like a A+ student who's like a teacher's pet and stuff, but she's very conflicted even early on in the game, between her sister and then Akechi, who's like being like really smug to her, and then how the Phantom Thieves initially was like, she's just trying to get us caught up, she's a snitch, and then she's like, nobody accepts me.
Verbatim.
I'm trying my best. Like, I'm trying my best, but nobody accepts me, but I do have this desire to instill justice, and I think that by way of the Phantom Thieves, I'm going to join them and express everything that I've been feeling since she was a kid, because if you go into her backstory and her father and all that, it's like she finally unleashes that inner passion and she joins your party, and that's part of why you care about these characters. Like, their stories within themselves aren't like revolutionary, but when you have like 10, 15 of these stories all put together, driving to the same goal, I think that's what makes Persona 5's cast and characters and story very special.
And at like a certain point in the game, it starts to ask whether what you're doing is actually just and righteous. I mean, like a lot of superheroes tales do that, and you're essentially like psychic superheroes in this game, to be reductive. But it starts to question whether you're not the bad guys. You are going into people's minds and screwing with their wiring to make them better people, so to speak. And like a lot of them admit their guilt and do become better people. But there are like implications that come with that. Like, is this even moral to do that? Do you think the game did a good job of making you question your own actions throughout, Jean-Luc?
Oh, definitely at the end. I mean, they really start to get into that. I would say the game maybe doesn't. At the end, it is sort of like still like, no, we still did the right thing, and I guess that comes down to like how your personal perspective. Because I felt like, I think they did the right thing too.
I felt like a shitty person.
But the game definitely does make you question that. Like the characters have like this, crisis of faith about what they're doing is right, and sort of like the realization that kind of like we talked about that it's just like society as a whole is the problem, and that like it's not just about we can change we have to force this change on people. We need to get people to realize to make the change themselves.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the larger theme of the game. And,
Yeah,
and
it's
like,
definitely not one note. Like it does sprinkle that little bit of doubt, but then by the end you like kind of figure things out. You're like, nah, we doing the right thing.
Yeah. Right.
And that's a really good feeling too, because when the whole cast of characters that you care about kind of realize, and then when you go into this game that has so much style, so much confidence, like even the main character is like smirk, and like every time he does like the all-out attack and stuff like that, it's just like, wow, I really believe in what they're doing and what I'm doing along with them.
What'd you name your main character? Do you remember?
I did a shout out to the Giant Bomb Persona 4 Endurance
Charlie
run.
Tanoku?
Yeah, Charlie Tanoku.
nice.
That's my boy,
Oh,
man.
Gotcha.
I named him Akira because that's the comic,
yeah.
that's the manga name for him. So
Gotcha.
I just went with that one.
Persona 5, one of the more memorable games of this year, stylistically, narratively, in the ways it subverted its genre. It was one of my favorite games of the year, and a lot of the GameSpot staff happened to agree, so that's why it got to our number 2 spot. If you're watching this on GameSpot or YouTube after the fact, please go catch up on our first 8 games that we've announced. Is that right? We're on this is the 9th game we've announced, but it's number 2, yeah. So go catch up with all those. You can watch our discussions and our live streams, which we've archived, playing those games. If you're watching this live, we are going to be talking about our number 1 game of the year, which I'm sure nobody knows what it is, but we're going to be talking about that in a little while, so stick around. If you want to watch us live stream Persona 5, Michael's got a PS4 controller somewhere in the room. We'll throw it. Oh, it's right next to him. Sweet. We're going to be playing that right now, so hang out. Unless you don't want something spoiled, this is, if you happen to be anywhere before the 3rd dungeon, correct?
Yes, this
Yes.
is the third. This is the 3rd dungeon. This is Kanashiro's palace, and I chose this because it has the best palace music.
Yeah, let's talk about the music.
This is the best palace layout in the level design, in my opinion. Unless I'm forgetting one major one that I can't
I like
remember.
this one a lot.
I have to say, I cannot stand the space dungeon.
We both didn't mind the space.
I think it was Jess McDonald when she came for E3. Me and her were talking about it. I abhorred it. Like it angered me. But I still see what it was going for.
Yeah.
But anyway, this one's
why I
fantastic.
played
I think
this
we can
one.
agree on that.
Okay, yeah, I gotta
Yeah, and then you gotta-
realize. No, you saved us, girl. You're good.
I was kind of put off by the fact that maybe they lead you to believe that you can romance Yusuke as you go through the game.
So I found that a little frustrating because
Yeah.
they definitely feel like they're leaning into that, and he looks exactly like a character from Persona 2 who is a gay romance option. So the fact that he looked exactly like that character and they're like hinting at it, I was thinking they were going to do that again, and I was like, oh, that'd be great. Because they haven't done that since 2.
That is weird that they did it in 2.
But they
and
didn't.
stopped.
They didn't do it. They
Interesting.
almost did it in 4, but then they ended up cutting it. I don't know why.
I got on to max level. I liked her story.
You did on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's dope. She's my primary damage dealer. All right, we're gonna get into a battle.
Really?
Here. We're gonna throw hands.
My
boy.
damage dealer was
You can make her
No, mine was
primary
Yusuke.
magic damage dealer for sure.
got fire attacks. Or anything. God, this music.
Oh,
I was telling Pete earlier when before we did our Odyssey stream that I'm like dangerously considering replaying this game. Not that it doesn't deserve to be at all, but like I'm devoting another 90 hours that I could use to clean up the rest of my backlog over the holidays.
or I would even recommend like go play 4.
That's probably a better idea as well.
I think it's a better idea. Because I think these games.
No, you don't like 4?
I don't like 4.
You don't like 4?
What?
Oh,
I find this game is so much more interesting from the get-go. 4,
Join my cause.
at least like jumping into 4 takes a lot of effort and patience.
I'll agree with that.
It's slow.
So for me, the characters of 4 ended up. I ended up being more attached to them by the end, and I think
Yeah.
that's because
I felt the same way, too.
It's a little bit of a smaller story in 4. That's kind of more about the town and about these characters.
Right.
So
It's
it
more
feels-
about It's about people and
Yeah.
realizing
Yeah.
who they
This
are.
game does just blow up as you play through
exactly.
it.
It kind of becomes like a larger
Societal
problem
Yeah.
because that takes away the focus from the characters. And I do think that 5 is certainly the best playing. Like mechanically, they make a lot of really smart changes, but I do think 3 and 4 are still worth playing because each of them tell a very different story and have very different characters that all feel unique and are worth experiencing.
Yeah, I went back and played 4 this year, and after I finished 4, I kind of asked myself, do I like, and when I finished 5, I was like, this is a very special game to me. But I played 4, and I was like, whoa, I have a conflict here. I don't know if I like 4 or 5 more. They do things very differently though. But when I came out of it and actually like thought about it, I think I'd give the edge to 4. And then I asked myself like, is Persona 4 my favorite game of all time? And since I was like 12, I said that the original Deus Ex was my favorite game of all time. So I was like very conflicted.
Yeah, go back and play the original Deus Ex.
I did like 2 years ago.
Fantastic game. They killed it, but it's a very, very important game. But I would rather replay if I don't know. I haven't played Persona 4. Is the best way to play it on Vita, Gold Edition?
Oh yes. Yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
Play it on a Vita TV if you have it. So you
definitely,
can actually play it on your TV.
What's the difference between Gold and just normal? What do they add?
So they added a couple new social links, a bunch of new events, make some changes to the combat, new items. It's a lot for like a special edition. Like they've always kind of gone really the extra mile whenever they like do a remake. Like they just announced they're doing a Catherine
yeah, I saw that.
like remaster, which is by the Persona people. They made it, and it's not just like a simple port. Like they're adding a whole new character. They're gonna add multiple.
It's called Catherine.
Full body.
Full body, yeah.
But they're gonna add like a new character and all this other stuff. So like they always go the extra mile with their special editions, which is really cool.
So I still got to ask you guys, and I think I know the answer, but
Sure.
Shin Megami Tensei, have you guys played any of those games before?
I do want to get into it, but I haven't
So yeah, that's probably like the big weak spot for me because
Yeah.
that's
It's a very
like it,
different. I love them, and
Yeah.
they're very different because it's not so much about these interpersonal relationships. It is about you versus like the fate of the world and like ultimate good and evil.
so. Persona always sneaks that in at the end, and I would say that's actually a detriment to Persona in the sense that
Well,
like
in the context of what it sets up.
exactly
Sure, yeah.
it kind of sets up this like personal relationship, and then they're like, oh, then the Megami Tensei stuff comes in at the very end, and it feels a little out of place at times.
It gets dark fast. Like,
Yeah.
well, Persona
You got the-
3 in particular is pretty much dark throughout.
Persona 3, I think, earns it. I think it's more 4 and,
Sure.
and 5
Yeah.
maybe at the end. Kind of feels like it's thrown in because it's like, well, it's technically a Megami Tensei game.
Right. Yeah, I mean any Shin Megami Tensei game, there's like nothing cute in it whatsoever. There's nothing where you're like, oh, that really warmed my heart. Like
No, they're very.
it's way tonally just in a different ballpark. And Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne, which I think you can play on PS3 as a PS2 classic.
Yeah, that game
is
looks incredible. So
What is that the one you would recommend playing if I
Absolutely,
were to start
yeah.
one tonight?
I mean, 4 Apocalypse on 3DS is very, very good. Maybe more accessible if you don't have a PS3 setup, because I don't think you can play Nocturne on PS4. And even just the standard Shin Megami Tensei 4 on 3DS is great, but Apocalypse kind of actually adds a bit more modern style to it and tells the story a little bit differently. I mean, it is a new set of characters and everything. It's like roughly the same events. I mean, all the Shin Megami Tensei games are kind of similar in terms of the bigger reason that things are happening.
right.
But Nocturne is just the epitome of, well, it's tough actually, because Nocturne is very stylish, but then so too are the Digital Devil Saga games, the pair that came out after that, but in a very different way.
Yeah.
But then you've also got the Raido Kazunoha, if I'm remembering that name
Devil
correctly.
Summoner, right?
Devil Summoner. There are 2 or 3 of those on PS2. I mean, you could spend hundreds of hours playing excellent games if you dove into the PS2 Shin Megami Tensei library.
So that's something I'm potentially excited for, is because they did so many PS2 games, like you said, and
Yeah.
they all had like they used a same like shared pool of assets, like all the
Pretty much.
the personas and demons in the Megami Tensei games are like all the same.
Pretty much.
So because they've kind of remade them all in like these really nice like 3D models of the original art, I would love to see a Megami Tensei game like use the Persona like assets as a way to like I want to see like those games like fully realized in 3D the way Persona 5 is. I think would be kind of cool.
They announced
well,
the new
the-
Switch Shin Megami Tensei while I was playing
Right.
5.
Yeah,
I'm excited
so
for
I'm
that.
kind of curious how that's.
I mean, the PS2 games are 3D.
No, I know, but I think there was what I'm saying is that the 3D models on the PS2 were like never quite fully captured like the 2D art so when you look at the menus you can see like, oh, here's what they originally drew that Demon-esque.
Sure. Okay, I see what
Here's
you're
the
saying.
3D model.
Right.
And it's like close, but you're like, oh, the limitations of the PS2. These look like they spent a lot of effort trying to capture the original art.
Yeah, because they
style
can now.
in 3D. So
Yeah,
I'm saying I would love
right.
to see a Megami Tensei game.
I understand.
do
Yeah,
that.
and I think 5 is probably going to be that example
Sure,
when that
sure.
comes out.
It's Shin Megami Tensei 5 on
Yeah.
Switch.
It's kind of
Switch
weird
exclusive.
how
Yeah.
that's become a thing where like Persona's pretty much always been a PlayStation series, and then like Megami Tensei is now kind of like been on Nintendo systems for the last couple of years, sort of like an
Well,
interesting-
it was born on Nintendo.
right.
The original Famicom
Yeah.
was where the series began.
But it's kind of interesting that they've been keeping doing that there and not. Although I'd like to see, honestly, I think they should just be on every platform. Like Persona 5 should be on the Switch. That would be.
It'd be cool if they brought
They'll bring it to Switch.
I don't know.
the
Replay it. For sure.
Tokyo Sessions Sharp FE.
They should put that on.
They should put that on Switch.
'Cause
That
that
game
is-
came out too late.
A little more Persona-ish.
Yeah.
So Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne.
Yeah.
Is that the
that's-
PS3 port of 3?
It's the PS.
Or is that just a subtitle it always
PS2
had?
game.
It's a PS2 game that they made a classic on PSN.
Yeah.
And then it became Nocturne.
No.
That was always SMT.
That was always the subtitle.
Yes.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I thought it was like a P4
No, no.
Gold situation.
It's an emulated version of the PS2 game
Alright,
on
gotcha.
PS3.
All right. So here I
I'll
put
play
on
something
the
like that.
You
soon.
should-
I saw that.
I put on the Yasugami uniforms,
Yeah.
man.
Oh, you're gonna get that the battle music too?
Yeah, I
Nice.
got Time to Make History as my
Is
battle
that
theme
the
now.
Persona 4 uniforms?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
high school they're at?
Yeah.
You can't see it, but we're both wearing Yasugami shirts.
Yeah, we're
There
repping
you go.
our old high school, Yasugami High. So
What about in 3? Where are
Oh,
you in
snap.
3? What the fuck?
Oh,
We're getting some technical
Dude,
issues.
This happened.
whoa.
Lost,
Told you this game was stylish. Whoa!
Oh man.
We're gonna fix that.
We'll just,
did this PlayStation just turn off?
It's probably a video issue. It looks like a sync problem.
Look in there. We'll
Should we end it or just try to fix this? Tay, what do you want to? You want to?
we'll give him a minute. We could talk about
All
it.
right. Yeah. Well,
Nah,
Straight up
Peter,
turned
it's
off.
interesting. Like on forum, you go on the internet and you look
What's
up
the
any-
internet?
Oh well, it's this terrible
fun
place.
place.
You should never go there.
it's society's subconscious, and you have to go into it. To
Exactly, to change their minds and be like, no, Persona 5, it's really good.
Star Wars: Last Jedi. It's not.
Let's not get into that.
No, yeah, I was joking.
What I was saying is, you always see this like divide between like Persona people
Yeah.
and Shin Megami Tensei people, and specifically, like I think Shin Megami Tensei, I definitely want to get into it, but they always seem like very curmudgeon-y about it in a way where, and I'm
Just
not
describe to me to
Checks out. Yeah.
where they're always like these like casual fans and their social sins and their persona.
People
and,
hate
and
me
they don't
for
they
liking
don't
Persona
know
5 and not
true
playing
Shin Megami. Like they're so
I mean,
dismissive
to
of
speak
it.
broadly, I think they're probably scared of the idea of like falling in love with characters. You know what I mean? Like having an emotional connection to someone, like you guys do with the characters in these games.
Yeah.
Because Shin Megami Tensei does not concern itself with endearing you to these people. I
Right.
mean, there are characters and character moments and some story arcs, but it's not the point. It's
No,
not the point at all.
totally.
And so I think they're scared of that
Yeah,
aspect.
it's just that's always weird to me because I'm just like, guys, we're all fans of this incredible, both pretty niche, like even Persona, it's very niche. And so
Yeah.
it's like, why can't we all just be happy that all these games are like you're still getting? I think maybe the worry was like, oh, Persona would overtake Shin Megami Tensei.
It certainly has.
It has in terms of public reception, but maybe like, oh, they're not going to make a new Shin Megami Tensei.
Well, no, but that fear was certainly there, and maybe people just didn't direct it appropriately.
Maybe,
I can
yeah.
understand that.
I
But,
don't know.
But yeah, no, it did seem for a while with all the hype about 4. I was like, no one ever talks about Shin Megami Tensei, and that's kind of upsetting because I was always thinking like, when is this series going to get its day? And Persona did kind of take it out from under it.
That's fair. That's a valid
But I think
concern.
But I think when 5 comes out on Switch, that's going to be a good point where both sides can really look at the two and say, do I prefer one or the other, or do I like both? You know?
I think there's room in my heart for both.
I
You
agree
act
with you.
surprised that people are defensive of properties they love and they're afraid people.
Well, for me, it's weird where it's like they're technically part of the same series, and it's like, I don't know. For me, I'm just like, can we be happy that we're both getting like these weird niche games that we love?
Are
But
there Easter eggs and like
no, one has
callbacks
to be better than the other.
between Shin Megami Tensei and Persona?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, there's similar characters and enemies and stuff.
all the
Like, I mean,
personas.
characters.
Personas
Personas,
themselves have,
yeah.
have carried on through the series.
Yeah,
Like you'll
they're-
always see Jack Frost.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all pretty much the same. They just refer to them as demons in Megami Tensei.
Yeah.
Love to see Persona 5 come to Switch.
That'd be
sweet.
good, yeah.
I would like
Maybe I'll
more
hold off
people
on
to
three.
play it.
They so originally they said like no, this
they
is
would
before the
compete with-
game came out. But then a while back they put out like a like a fan poll of like, what would you like to see? And it was like a bunch of lists like Persona 5 fighting game, like a special edition, and one of them was
I'd play that.
a Switch port. Oh, we're good. All right.
Sweet.
Let's get back
Once
in it
Tay
for
gets
a
back
little
in the
bit.
back room, we can get back to playing this game for another 5 minutes or so, maybe a little longer. That's it? You just want to stay here all day and play? Sure, yeah, let's do that. We're not even going to announce our game of the year anymore. No, I'm just kidding.
No, we're just gonna.
Okay, we good?
Yeah.
All right, let's move this
Oh,
one
you
back.
just had Makoto ready to rock. Makoto, what are you doing? How do I say it? Makoto?
Makoto.
Wait, this fool's not weak to Alex.
Anything.
Yeah, that was definitely the disappointment about this game. The big criticism I'd put on it is that the localization is pretty weak in a lot of spots, and it's weird because I think 4 is really, really good. So
Yeah,
I
you
think
can download the Japanese voice acting, which everybody who likes the game a lot would recommend, but
well, that doesn't even fix it though, because a lot of it's in the text. You know, a lot of this game is text, so that wouldn't necessarily fix your issues with the localization. And I think I don't know what was going on there.
I don't speak Japanese, and even I knew it was bad.
Compared to like 4, because 4 was so good, but
Did they redo anything between the original PS2 release of 4 and Golden?
they added a bunch of new.
Well, I mean, in
dialogue.
terms of localization wise, like maybe they had hindsight to kind of go back.
Did they tweak anything? I don't know. They did have to redo a character because her voice actress like quit voice acting, so they had to replace her.
Oh, Chie got
Chie,
a new
they
voice
had to
actor.
replace Chie.
Aaron Fitzgerald.
But I don't know if they ever made sweeping changes. I was actually thinking about that because I guarantee you a special edition of Persona 5 will probably happen just by the track record of them doing it with every other Persona game like at some point. And if they do, I'd be curious if they would actually take the effort to re-localize it, or if that's way too much work and money.
It's definitely a lot of work and money.
Yeah, so I don't know if that is worth it, but I'd be into that.
Have we seen the overall like puzzle box nature of this dungeon yet?
No,
today?
it's pretty.
Nah. This is probably the area. Oh, are you talking about the locks? Once you get down to the basement?
No, that's in the second half.
Yeah, that's
Gotcha.
second
I like
half.
that part a lot.
Let's do some quick social
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Or well, yeah.
Just kind of run around. I've been playing a lot of Yakuza, and I love that game for the same reason I love this game. Like just like that encapsulating like an aspect of like Japanese like culture and the ability to like interact with it and like walk around and
Turn-based strategy with Phantom.
turn-based
demons.
strategy.
I mean, we certainly don't know how accurate it is, but it feels authentic anyway.
Right, exactly. Just like that, like slice of life kind of.
Totally.
Yeah, there's something special about that.
I feel like anybody who's played Persona 5 ends up wanting to have Joker's bedroom.
The
Attic
the
above
cafe.
LeBlanc. Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Get all the.
Don't know about that? It's the
Decorate it.
coolest place ever.
Yeah, every time you walk in, you gotta deal with that old.
I don't know if Sojiro becomes a very good character towards the end.
I believe it. I mean, I know he's got good intentions.
What don't
He's
you
such
don't
an
like his
asshole at
room?
the beginning of that
Yeah,
I
game.
want to
Real
live in the attic
quick.
of a coffee shop. Dog.
What? That's like everybody's dream.
All right,
Oh, man,
so
maybe
we're,
not.
We're kicking it.
It's my dream.
with Makoto. And we're
It's
gonna,
sick. It's huge.
Dude, there's a coffee.
Go downstairs for curry and coffee.
Oh, that does sound pretty dope.
Maybe I'm a
It also
weirdo,
sounds like a
but
trip to the bathroom in the making.
Yeah, I know, but they eat it all the time in this game.
halfway through
Is that,
playing.
I didn't know that was a thing. Is that a thing in Japan? Curry and coffee?
I've never heard of those two.
No, because that's
Married
what
like
LeBlanc
that.
is. Curry shop with coffee as well.
I have a question.
Like halfway through playing this game, I was just like, yeah, I could retire and run a coffee shop in
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
small town in
I would
Japan.
want to. I don't know that I can pull it off, but
Nah, I'd be that weirdo, that weird white guy who came to Japan and started a coffee
Well,
shop.
there's a,
Edward Snowden just set up shop in Tokyo and
when
we
I
found
was,
him.
when I was in Tokyo with Ed last September, he was telling me about this Australian dude who moved to Japan and literally set up a cafe in his garage, like not too like close to Akihabara, like sort of outside from like the nerdy shopping parts of it. And Ed went there and he said it was packed. Some white guy, exactly as you guys just described, has proven that dream can come true.
That's true. And you know, I guess to be fair, that would actually probably be an advantage because it's like, okay, well, there's lots of cafes all over.
Right.
You know, Tokyo, but this one's run by like this Australian guy. Like that's cool, right?
Let's go to the
Like-
one where we can exploit the owner and make them.
Well, part of it is that coffee in Australia is like is taken super seriously, and so he
okay.
brings over that quality and knowledge.
Sure.
So that's part of it too.
Yeah, like you have to bring something to the table.
Yeah.
I've only been to Japan once. I went to Osaka with Tamor and Adam from our UK team. And Tamor was talking about how he wants to, like, it would be dope to retire there and just live there afterward to keep your mind sharp and still, like, kind of figuring out a new culture that you'll never just, like, fully understand.
Don't do it in Tokyo.
Yeah, I don't know where he wants to do it. Why is Tokyo just impossible to figure out?
It's too much. It's way too much. Something like Kyoto is. I mean, these are one of or a couple of many places in Japan. that
I'd
you
rather
could
go to
but-
Kyoto before I go to Tokyo.
Yeah.
Let's go to the arcade, girl.
Hell yeah.
Let me show you how to play video games.
Aren't you going next summer for a
I am.
graduation thing or something?
Yeah, my brother graduation gift. Going to Japan. First time.
I liked it a lot.
I'm not sure if it'll broaden my horizons.
I've not been nearly as much as Pete or Justin or Ed. He goes a lot for the Australian team.
Thank goodness. I think I would have been totally lost.
For
right.
people that live there. They know it a little better than me.
Probably.
I'll just show up and start telling people in the street, yo, I got this good place you gotta check out.
Yeah. So here we are. This is the opening social link event or confidant event for Makoto. So we take her to the arcade, man. Hey, y'all taking notes right now? This is how you win a girl's heart, man.
Take her to the arcade.
Yeah, we're gonna play some Time Crisis right now. So,
Maybe you need notes.
nah, bro. Well, I'm taking notes right now.
Is this is the different don't you go to Akihabara to meet what's his name later? The kid?
Yeah,
Oh,
there's,
Mishima?
that's a different arcade.
He's not a great character.
no, not Mishima.
I didn't
He's
find
talking
him.
about the kid.
Who gives you the range skills?
Oh yeah, the tower
Yeah.
confidant.
Yeah, I didn't find his skills that he gave you useful.
Oh no, his first one's super useful because basically you have a chance of starting the battle where you can like just rain like hell
I
on
have
them.
that one. Then there's another one in there. Yeah, never
And
mind,
like
I
that
have
because like you essentially can get like up to like a fourth of some enemies' health off
Well,
just
if
like
they're
from
weak-
the start.
If they're weak to guns, you can down a bunch of them, can't you? Or
think
does
so.
it not?
Well, you also get
register?
another ability where you can you'll use up most, if not all, of your bullets,
You're a real
but you
gamer.
will automatically down an enemy
You're a real
regardless
gamer. Is one of the
of their weakness,
Dialogue
which is like a really good like like in a pinch move.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people with a lot of personas with wings were weak to bullets, like all the fairy type creatures.
I remember in 4, I spent a lot of time trying to like figure that out. Where I'm like, okay, well that demon's
Like
a
there's-
table, so is he weak to fire? And then it's like wind. It's like, oh no, you knock the table down with wind, so it's wind. Like,
And then
a
you
lot
run
of
into a
different tables,
massive.
yeah, and then it's like, well that table's red, so that one's water.
And then you run into a towering penis, and then you have no idea.
Oh,
that happens.
yeah,
in this
it happens
game.
all the time.
There's a lot of sexual overtones.
In a wheelchair.
Yeah,
That was a new side
metaphors
of you.
abound.
I think that's a metaphor.
I think it is. No, it's pretty literal.
Wiener on wheels.
I might be able to give
Yeah.
the team more ideas if I can
Aw,
gain
yeah.
increased knowledge outside of my studies.
That's right. I look forward to it.
So I named him main character Kenji after my cat when I started the game, and my cat only has one eye, and it just so happens that whenever that dude's profile pic comes up, his like the light
Oh,
is
yeah, the lens
obscuring
in one
one
eye.
side
One
of
eye.
it. So it was
Aw.
like
Oh,
kind of
that's
the perfect
that's pretty good.
coincidence, yeah.
Oh no, let's
Couldn't go
fast
one live
forward.
stream without talking about
I'm gonna
Kenji.
stick my finger in your ear.
Was this Sicario? See the trailer for the second one?
Sick.
Denis Villeneuve's not
How could
directing
you
it, but
use
Taylor
my
Sheridan's
sister
still writing
in
it.
your party?
I also like the story wrapper they have in this one where it starts out at a certain point in the future and it kind of keeps coming back to that moment where you're
Yes.
being interrogated.
Yeah.
I think
You know what it reminds me of?
Haggard as hell.
That I just started watching again last night. True Detective. It starts during interrogation in the present, and then they're telling the story about the past, and then it meets up with the present, and then you continue into the future.
Yeah, that's
from the way it
exactly how
starts.
this is set
Yeah.
up as well.
That's what I just said.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were correcting me. I was like, I just said that.
No.
Anyway,
but like we're 4 and especially 3 sometimes you get into the grind and it's like easy to like lose like the larger picture where it's like, oh, I've spent like a couple weeks just like doing social stuff and you're kind of like forgetting the overall. So like I think this narrative is like a good way to like remind you like, oh right, there's like this bigger picture that's gonna like keep cropping up.
yeah, this frame story
Yeah.
functions really well.
I think it makes a lot of sense.
You say you want to call it a stream?
Yep.
move on to
Yeah.
our number one soon? All right, cool. Everybody who's watching live right now, don't go anywhere. We are going to go to standby quick, get a few different cast members on to talk about our overall game of the year. But yeah, Persona 5, number 2, as voted on and argued by many of the GameSpot's staff. Let's go through them one more time, see if I'm still on the ball. Number 10, Nier Automata. 9 was What Remains of Edith Finch. 8 was Hellblade. Senua's Sacrifice. 7, Wolfenstein 2, New Colossus. 6, Horizon Zero Dawn. 5, Divinity Original Sin 2. 4, Resident Evil 7. 3, Super Mario Odyssey. 2, Persona 5. And who knows what number 1's going to be, so stick around. We'll be right back. See you then. Welcome back to GameSpot's Best of 2017 Countdown. It is finally time to announce our Game of the Year. You just saw that montage. If you didn't just tune in right now, you saw our games 10 through 2. We just played a little bit of Persona 5 with Michael Hyman and Jean-Luc, so now we have Justin Haywald.
Hey.
And Rob Handlery.
How are you?
And Peter Brown, as always.
Hello.
Let's just jump right into it. I'm sure none of you have any idea what game we're about to show, but let's show you anyway. What's it going to be? Hey, we're still here, but we'll show you.
Wake up, Link. Link, you are the light, our light, that must shine upon Hyrule once again. Now go.
So, you're finally awake.
Right, little guy?
So, surprising everyone, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is GameSpot's overall game of 2017. Rob Handler, you kind of like this game.
Yeah, kind of
It's
a
all right.
curveball, right?
Yeah, it's all right. Justin, you too.
Yeah, I
And Pete?
never saw this coming.
What are we doing? This game is freaking amazing. I love it. Holy shit. What an
game's fantastic.
awesome fuck.
Arguments were specifically by me during our deliberations that this is one of the best games ever made.
I think so.
If you gave me like an hour, I could draw up an argument for why it's the best game ever made. But that's beside the point, and not the point. It's the best game of 2017,
Yes.
as almost universally agreed upon at GameSpot. There were arguments, but we snuffed them out pretty right away. The game itself snuffed them out right away.
Even in April, like thinking about the beginning of the year, like the amount of time I spent in this game, it was almost immediately apparent. Like this is the
Yeah.
game to beat.
Like Horizon Zero Dawn is like a lot of our like viewers were saying that's their #1 game of the year. It's because of Zelda that I didn't like Horizon as much as I might have. It's just because Zelda came along, and I think Horizon perfected the open world nature of so many games of the last like 10 years that we've been leading up to. But then Zelda said, screw that, let's just make the best open world game ever, and like you won't even see it coming. Because like a lot of people's complaint against Zelda, of the few that I've heard, is, you know, it's not a Zelda game. It's not the structured like a Zelda game. Like you're losing a lot of the tenets of Zelda. But Pete, does that even matter here?
I don't think it matters. I think you know, like you should take, don't judge a book by its cover, right? Is the old saying, and that's especially true in this case because yes, this has Zelda in the title, and you see familiar characters and certain elements peppered into this game, but those are the least important aspect of what Nintendo is trying to do and what, you know, people like us are getting out of Breath of the Wild. Like, I think this game would be just as strong without those characters, without that title, even without the dungeons. Get rid of all that stuff. Ignore it if you can, and appreciate.
You can.
You can. No, I know, but I mean, like as a person, like if you can put those aside as a person when playing this game, you will, I think, realize what the true strengths are, and that is everything that is new for Zelda in this game. It's just. It's incredible the way that they build up a world around you by, as I put it, you know, in my write-up, is that, you know, the laws of nature sort of dominate everything in this game, and it sort of goes beyond our traditional understanding of how games work, where, you know, you sort of understand how maybe two things interact with one another, and those are very fixed, and you sort of master those and you learn those relationships. But here it's almost impossible to master everything that is in here. Months later, we are still figuring out what is capable, or what we're capable of in this game.
That Unreal game on all accounts, and I would like to pass this over to two guests we have to accept GameSpot's official Game of the Year award. So here you go.
はい、今回のブレスオブザワイルドは本当に多くの挑戦と冒険っていうことを、スタッフみんなでやってきたことなので、少し不安もあったんですが、たくさんの皆さんに本当に楽しく遊んでいただけたということを聞いていて、本当に今嬉しく、そして安心しています。
私はゼルダ長く作ってきたので、ここに来てすごく大きく方向性を変えるっていうのはかなりな勇気が必要だったんですけど、藤原氏をはじめとするスタッフたちがですね、このゼルダをもっと驚くようなものに変えていこうって毎日頑張ってくれたので、皆さんが驚いてくれたようにそういうものにできて本当に良かったと思ってます。ゲームスポットのゲームオブザイヤーに選んでいただきありがとうございます。
本当にたくさんのユーザーの皆さんに遊んでいただけて嬉しく思います。ありがとうございました。
これからもですね、皆さんに驚いていただけるようなもっとまたユニークなねゼルダを作っていこうと思いますので、今後にもご期待ください。Thank you.
Again, based on those lower thirds, that was director Hidemaru Fujibayashi of Breath of the Wild and legendary producer Eiji Onuma, who's been around since Ocarina of Time. He was working for Nintendo a few games before that, but I would say that was probably his breakout hit. We were fortunate enough to go down to the Game Awards. They were there in town for a few different things. They were also showing off Champions Ballad DLC, the second DLC for the game, if you got the chance to play that. So I got to try out the Master Cycle Zero the day after they announced it at the Game Awards, after Onuma-san was on stage whirling the Master Sword around in his champion's tunic, which was awesome. He's always on board for the cheesy, awesome stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that was my first time ever meeting either of them, but especially like as someone who grew up on Zelda, first time meeting Onuma, it was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
He's cool as hell.
And
like you've told me all the time. You've met him a bunch of times, and you're like, no, he's an approachable guy.
Just a couple, but yeah, he is very approachable.
Yeah.
But you know, it's can't really understate Fujibayashi's relationship to Zelda as well, because he's been around since the Game Boy Color days when he was at Capcom for Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. And those games were a little bit different, you know, in terms of maybe not the same way the Philips CDI games were, but different. The Philips CDI games? Do you not know those?
He's saying they don't exist. Yeah.
Don't talk about that.
Anyways.
Okay.
So like this isn't even the first time that a Zelda game has won Game of the Year for us. We gave it to A Link Between Worlds a couple of years ago, but I feel like this is such a different experience. And
it really is. Yeah, I mean, you can look at Link Between Worlds and say what they did differently because it's sort of it took away the structure of the game and gave you control over the structure of how you went through that adventure. This just it throws so many things out the window. So many things. Like, and you could even argue like Link Between Worlds fetishized the idea of owning equipment and having that be the thing that propels you through these games. Whereas in this game,
and dungeons or doing things in your own order.
Sure, yeah. But Breath of the Wild is sort of just like, oh, you think that piece of equipment is special? Well, we're just going to break it.
Right. Which people did have problems with, but I stand concretely by the fact that is integral to the experience. The reason that I'm still,
yeah.
one of the reasons I'm still going back, I'm nowhere near as far as you, and we'll talk about that in a second. We'll have an intervention, but I played probably 200 hours, I think, maybe a little less, maybe give or take a dozen, but breaking weapons, it doesn't matter because you're gonna find something else that's it's gonna satisfy some itch.
I mean, you don't even need to find another weapon. It's not about necessarily like, don't worry, I'll get another weapon. It's, okay, I can do this without that weapon. I don't need that to win, right? I mean, and that is such an eye-opening experience, and it teaches you that, like, again, going back to the idea that this world being something bigger than we can really comprehend and understand, part of that adventure is learning what you're capable of, you know, within the context of this natural world.
Just going back to, like, exploration in this game, what's so endearing, even just that acceptance speech, is him saying, like, having the courage to just shift directions so heavily.
Yeah.
And that's what stands out to me with this game. Is I will never look at an open world game. I mean, games in general, but definitely open world games as far as when you consider looking at an open world. Oh, this is me getting wrecked by a dragon. When you consider a map, right, and a map is being laid out, and you know, just so many open worlds in the past where it's just like, here are all these objectives. That's just literally wiped clean, and you are making your own objectives, and that's based on like the flip, which is you're on a peak. You're on a lot of this game is just getting height, so you can just survey the land, and from practically every direction there is a site, and so you pinpoint your own objectives. That is so natural and just brings so much feel of like an actual explorer. And that's what has kept me going for so long. And I'm still playing the game, and I'm still finding not just like new lines of sights of like an area, but like straight up just new areas like I've not seen before. And then you get sidetracked, and then 12 hours go by.
I think it was like you must have been 80 hours in at the point where I texted you. I was like, I just found this beach town, Lurelin Village. What's up with that? You're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, good one, dude. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, no,
I swore.
And then he texted me. He's like, go fuck yourself. I was like, just getting mad at the game for doing so much. I mean, I remember I was jumping off. The thought process you go through, you're like, all right, my shrine sensor is going off. My Sheikah Slate is telling me there's a shrine in this direction based on I'm walking and it's beeping loudly and vibrating. I'm gonna go find it, but then it starts. I'm climbing up a cliff. I'm almost up. Oh, I'll collect a few mushrooms along the way. The ones that help you climb faster, I think, or whatever they're.
The ones that make you see colors that aren't there.
Yeah, the hallucinogenic mushrooms, psychedelic properties of Breath of the Wild's plants are. We can't talk about it too much.
Please.
Climbing, and then all of a sudden it starts raining. Like, shit, now I can't climb this cliff. You start slipping down, but then you fall and you start gliding, and then all of a sudden, like, the storm starts kicking in, there's lightning. I'm like, I might get struck by lightning. All of a sudden it clears, and I'm over this beach village, which I had no idea existed. I fell into it, the music changed to, like, this beach kind of, like, steel drum soundtrack.
Yeah.
And then I found another quest from this person, and then I was like, oh, wait, I'm kind of distracted, because I think I see a Korok seed over there. Not even leaving aside the Korok mask, we should tell you. It's just so many things that like distract you. It's
a very romantic game.
Yeah. Like the soundtrack just randomly like pianos will start plinking.
Thank you.
Out of nowhere. Yeah.
Thank you.
We were talking about the term for that, but you'll go into the woods and there won't be any music. It'll be just kind of ambient, like boom boom. But then all of a sudden it'll be. I'm like, what?
Right.
There's like these intimate little moments with the soundtrack. Obviously there's like Terrytown. There's anytime you're in Goron City, Zora's Domain, Rio Village, Gerudo Town, it's like all these actual soundtracks. But I was constantly talking about how this game's like an immersive sim. Even if you don't like Zelda games, it is an immersive sim. You mentioned like the way that the systems overlap, it's still astounding to find new things you can do. Like you see here in the B-roll where you're using magnesis to lift this block into the minecart, so then you can, you stand on the block and you can't magnesis things you're standing on, so by putting the block between you and the minecart, you can magnesis the minecart and start flying.
And this is the longevity that they literally owned up to. Like, this is ridiculous right here. But this is also, you know, maybe a couple months in. I think, Peter, you said one of the developers, like, hinted at doing this. Remember that? You, like, did an interview, and he was like, yeah, you can do something like this. And then sure enough, like, a week later, someone figured out how to do it. And
they didn't build that in. Like they were talking about how when they were doing testing, someone put this together. Like, oh wow, we didn't know you could do that, but we left it in. With like, it's not a bug. It's just interesting things that people were coming up with.
It's fascinating. Yeah, like as far as immersive sims go, it's. I mean, you really do fall back into like a breathing world, like always. Where like the Twitter videos that like have always surfaced throughout the year.
Like 2 weeks ago, so we saw something new.
Yeah, something new, but like also someone just like pointing out like, hey, did you notice that like wind in the game not only like corresponds with like moving actual like grass and trees. But you look in the sky and it's like the clouds are moving in the same direction. Everything is so symbiotic and natural, and that's what's immersive. And it's the audio, it's the light chime. It's not like a an overbearing classic tune with like the overworld. It's just a hint of a piano, and it's just enough to like drive emotion.
Yeah, it highlights the emotions you're having rather than trying to force them upon you.
Yeah, and like honestly, like you talk about, like it is the purest adventure game I've ever played. Like first Legend of Zelda came out before I was around, but like everybody talks about it as one of the most important games in their life, in the sense that it actually kind of showed them what video games can be capable of in terms of showing you an adventure, this open world. This game, almost the way I look at it, maybe it's a weird comparison, but I consider this game like the original Legend of Zelda of my life, at least. It reminds me, it shows me what like an adventure in a game can mean, because like you're snowboarding down a cliff and then all of a sudden you see a Korok seed, you stop off, but it doesn't matter. Like you could pick a spot in the distance. I'm gonna climb up there, and there's no like, I love Ubisoft games, but there's no map marker telling you, no exclamation point like an MMO. There's nothing telling you there might be something interesting over there. You're like creating your own story out of it. And that's just so ridiculous. I know, Justin, you were talking about that aspect of like the actual, like you kind of find your own stories in this game more than the main narrative.
I mean, that, for me, that was the thing that I think really cemented this in my memory. Like, one of the first things that I did in the game was, like, I have 4 hearts, I've gone off the cliff, and I just start exploring, and like I find I'm just following this path. I see a Lionel, and it's like, whoa, he's so strong. I run past him, and then I'm climbing up this snow-covered mountain, and my health is dropping. Like I'm suddenly in a situation that I've never been in before. I have an inventory just full of apples. Like my health is going down because it's too cold, and like if I get to the top of this, there's got to be a town. There's got to be something that's going to save me. And so I'm just throwing apples in my mouth, running past every enemy like there are wolves. And it's like, oh god.
That's why during the interview with Onuma, he was saying that was the initial concept they had for the game, was like, we wanted to make a game where you would want to go climb a mountain, but first you would have to forage and scavenge and get the necessary supplies to get you up the mountain. And then they're like, that naturally leads to, what are you going to do when you get to the top of the mountain? They're like, well, you'll be able to see more. And they're like, what leads from there? And then they're like, well, we need a way for you to be able to get down without climbing back down. And then that's what the glider comes in. And then they're like, what if you see something in the distance? How does that work? They're like, well, what if we add endurance to it? Because you're gonna like run out of energy holding that, and then you get to another hill.
I'll give you a real world example and explain why I'm on my phone. Because my blood sugar is actually kind of low right now. But like in the real world, no, I need to show this. Someone's getting it for me. But like Zelda will prepare you. Like you need to build up your stamina to get things taken care of. So maybe you need to take a potion that will boost that up, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like there's all these sort of things that.
But you can still fight around it. It's like there is a solution. Maybe you can get that piece of armor. Maybe you can find a potion that's going to help you survive. But you can also just fight through it, like I did at the beginning of the game. Like my health is going down. That should have been a warning not to do this, but I could still make it. Like I had enough inventory that I made it to the end, and it was. You get to the top of the mountain, you're like, well, everything is still kind of messed up here. I'm going to glide down, go back to somewhere safe.
And then you watch a guy complete the entire game in about 30 minutes. It's like, straight out of the Shrine of Resurrection, just booking it. Like, it's... In like my personal time at GameSpot, I've never seen a game last for so long. And just discovery that's endless.
Even without the DLC.
Even without, like, yeah, like,
You're
I mean...
above 500, right?
Yeah. I mean,
560 or something?
I
with the
mean,
DLC?
like, a good 100 was like doing montages and like time lapses.
Work.
Work. No, but
it was like it wasn't slow last week, but like toward the end of one day, it was we were really busy, and then we're like, oh shit, now we're prepping for the streams next week. What can I do right now? And Rob's like, I should probably play Zelda. We could probably get something out of it. It was pretty good, but the very fact that like. I don't know, the idea of the shrines themselves, like probably the biggest structural departure. Or you mentioned like beating the game in half an hour. Like you can, they say go try to beat Ganon at Hyrule Castle. Of course, you're gonna run into a guardian first.
How
12
cool is
guardians,
that?
and you're probably gonna die. It's because you're not gonna have ancient arrows. You're not gonna have.
But
anything.
even with a pot lid, you can fight a guardian.
Yeah, and you can go fight Ganon, but you probably want to. The whole story revolves around you preparing for the fight, and it's been 100 years, so it's not like. You feel weird that you're taking so long to prepare for it. It's like it's already been a century. There's not any immediate rush. They want me to get. They're like take your time and build yourself up, and then we'll kill Ganon, for another 100 years, hopefully.
But don't make it a selfish journey. Just
Right.
just enjoy the world if you really want to.
Yeah, I mean,
Just
you
do
look
that.
at someone like The Witcher. It's no different than that, right? Like, I gotta save my daughter Ciri, and it's like,
First
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
go to Skellige.
Let's get wasted.
Yeah.
Listen to a bard. But the shrines themselves, obviously, it ditches the whole like 8 or 9 dungeon structure of a Zelda game for these smaller bite-sized shrines, of which there are 120. Well, minus the DLC.
Yeah.
The DLC is like 130 something.
Right.
And those, obviously, like you build your hearts up and your endurance or your stamina by getting the orbs from the shrines, from the monks in the shrines of the like the Sheikah ancient monks, and you offer those to the goddess Hylia, and she gives you hearts or endurance. But the shrines themselves are like smaller puzzles that might have been like pulled from what in other games might have been a larger dungeon. And
Sure, but they feel so otherworldly compared to the world around you that you find yourself in them. And what's interesting is that like I may be trying to describe to Rob, like, remember that shrine where you had to do this, and it's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. You're like, no, come on, remember you had to do this to beat it. And then maybe I show you the shrine, you're like, oh, I remember it as a shrine where I had to do this to beat it. It's not even so much about the puzzles necessarily. It's about what it compels you to do.
The physics and the runes, right? Your abilities to manipulate objects and all that stuff. It's so well thought out and orchestrated in the sense that, like you come across these shrines that, there are a few of them where you can just stand there. I was talking to someone about it the other day. Granted, it was in the DLC, but like a lot of the other shrines had the same thing where you sometimes they're so difficult, you just gotta look at them in a very enjoyable way and just think. You think about how you're gonna do it because you can see a multitude of different ways of tackling it using, cryosis, or magnesis, wherever it is. Like you just can look and you can like feasibly see different layouts and waypoints, and then you tackle it. And it's like, it's in your review you said like it's a wonderful break from the actual game. Is to just like do these shrines and just kind of have like a moment to just like work your brain in a different way.
And some of the shrines aren't even like meant to be difficult. They're just meant to be these like bookends to this mini adventure you just had. Like I finally just the shrine quests where in Goron's, right outside of Goron City, you're supposed to bring that like rock cake to the one who lost energy tunneling in, and you finally bring it to him. He tunnels you in. The shrine is called Hill of Greed or Greedy Hill.
I don't remember.
It's a steep incline, and you're sprinting up, dodging rocks on the way up to the orb. It's not hard at all, but they call it Greedy Hill because if you want to risk getting rupees, there's like blue rupees scattered throughout it, so you can go out of the way to maybe get run over by a rock, but you'll get like an extra 150 rupees out of it. I love how they're like those and Korok seeds are such little like great bookends to this mini story you just had, and I love that idea. Like, I think the Korok seeds obviously there's 900 something.
900. Yeah, is it just 900?
Might be 900. Yeah. And like I finally got the Korok mask from the DLC. I finally started playing the DLC recently after like again like. I think I'm at 200 hours or something now, but now the Korok mask, like the game to me has become finding Korok seeds, but that doesn't stop me from finding this random shrine I never had or coming across this. I told you I had that quest, the Lover's Pond or whatever. There was the Gerudo woman on one side and the Hylian guy on the other, and you had to essentially like vicariously help them flirt
with them, right?
Yeah. And then it's funny because it's the game's really funny in a lot of aspects. The guy he's like, here for your time, it's a red rupee, 20 rupees. And then, like, in my head, I'm like, what the fuck? That's all he's giving me? That took me like 20. And then the Gerudo woman, she's like, that's all you're giving him for his time? And then she makes him give you like another 100 or something. It's fantastic, like the writing in that way. But then, of course, you have the Divine Beasts, which kind of become, you don't have to do them. They can make the final fight harder or easier, and they give you those 4 powers you get from the champions. They're kind of like the sages if you play older Zelda games.
So those, well, I guess the powers they give you, plus the runes that the rune powers you have, those are the only things that separate you in terms of ability from the enemies that are in the world.
Yeah, everything else is.
I guess maybe they can't
melee,
take like
range combat.
I guess they can't take like super powered like meals and stuff to power up.
But yeah, they don't heal, do they? Well, many enemies heal.
In Master Mode.
In Master Mode.
In Master Mode they do, yeah. So, but it's interesting how you can choose to not take an advantage to keep yourself on even footing with.
You turn them off for a while, didn't you?
Oh, for sure. I turn them all off. Like
I like Rivali's Gale a lot.
Rivali's Gale is the only one maybe I'll leave on, but the
just so
other
you can
ones,
use it and hear him chime in.
I love Rivali so much. He's such a dick.
He's one of the better characters.
Oh, Link. Hi there. You can't fly? I can.
He just does like a barrel roll while shooting 6 arrows.
See you later. Yeah, the other ones. I mean. Yeah, you're right. Like, and thank God you can turn those off because it's like Daruk's protection. Every time you like pull out your shield, it's this giant bubble around you. It's just
Which looks cool,
It
but
looks
it's
cool
cool, but it's
for
different, but
a
it-
minute, and then it's just distracting because for me it breaks that immersive feel. And that's such a departure too, right? Like they have such a balance with like the art style and just pure realism, right? Like they could have gone in any direction, but it's like that happy medium as far as style and like just pure realism.
It's funny, like people knock this game for not being Zelda enough. I would only knock it for being Zelda at all.
Yeah, like the only big problem I had with the game is the narrative. Like even if this wasn't Link, if this was just a random character who woke up in this weird kind of max medieval and scientific future-y world, like that would have by itself been fascinating. Like I think the Zelda hook pulled in people who might not have been immediately interested, but the narrative was kind of the weakest aspect.
Well, also, like, the Zelda name allowed Nintendo to devote their biggest team to it and say, oh, it's a Zelda game, so we can spend all the money.
Yeah, well, and that's how they operate, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's the reason we don't see a lot of new IPs from them all the time necessarily, is because they understand that people are more welcome to try out new things if there's at least something to bring them along,
But
to lure them in.
Fujibayashi-san and Onuma-san said in that acceptance speech, like, that's what makes this all the more impressive to me, is that they had Zelda and they decided to say, screw it, we're going to do something crazy. We have an interview I did with them that's going up today, I think, and they were saying like they were pretty scared the entire time, if not like much of it. Like Onuma was saying that he played a lot of Skyrim and he didn't really look at it for design aspects, but he looked at it and looked at the Bethesda team to say, what do we need to do to prepare for design and development eventualities with Breath of the Wild? Because it was their biggest team Nintendo's ever assembled. A lot of veterans. It was something wholly new with one of the most iconic series in games, and that makes it even more impressive to me, like how bold and kind of downright crazy that was.
It's really, it gets, I mean, I think all of us have some love for Nintendo that goes back a long time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's safe to say there's been a point in recent years where I think a lot of people were questioning, like, is Nintendo still really relevant? Like, they will put out a good game now and then, a great game, but are they still an industry leader in some regard? It kind of warms my heart to see that they're back, but more what it does is it makes me excited to think I can still look at this one company as you were going to surprise me and delight me for years to come, and I'm really happy that I can say that because there aren't many publishers and developers that really do give you that like endless confidence in them, and I feel like this has given me that again for Nintendo.
I mean, like when I played Horizon earlier in the year, I was like, okay, cool. Sony is publishing new stuff, and like we're getting exclusives on the PS4 that is new, and like Guerrilla Games just did a 180 and like knocked it out of the park. And then, you know, say what you will about Microsoft, they had like Cuphead came out. There's still like unique things to it, but of course throughout the year, the Switch was just this awesome comeback. And like it wasn't that I didn't care about Nintendo during the Wii U years, but I really did not go out of my way to play much Nintendo. The hardware side, right? I know, like I would love to see Mario Maker and Smash come to the Switch now that I can relive those experiences, because I mean I played them, but I didn't really like dive into them on Wii U. But to see Nintendo finally figure it out, not just in the marketing and in the hardware, and especially in the software, like them, even like we talked about how long we wanted a 2D Metroid to come back. This is kind of a tangent, but they were confident enough to hand it off to Mercury Steam. I know they had some oversight and like development members, but still, like here's something people have been asking for a while. You guys make this while we will oversee it, and it came out. Should have been talked about more, I think. We talked about it a lot personally, but fantastic game. But like Nintendo itself, outside of Zelda, is just like returned full force, and in my opinion, was like it was my favorite platform to play on this year. I mean, like, aside from like PC or anything, but like the Switch, Zelda, you could not have asked for a better game ever to just say, hey, what's up, guys? We're back, and we're gonna kick your face in with this game.
Booyah!
Yeah, I mean, Breath of the Wild will be a footnote on the timeline. I don't even know if footnote is good enough. A milestone for game design and Nintendo. I mean, I think for many of us, there is gaming before and after Breath of the Wild. Just like there, you know, the few games we look back on like that.
Yeah, like I always find myself thinking about, like, for me at least, like Ocarina of Time. Like there's definitely that callback. But it's not like, you know, overused in this game. But it's not so much the nostalgia I think about that game. It's me remembering how I felt. And then I think about a kid playing this game today. And that's going to be them in 10 years.
Spoiled little brat.
I know. It's like a fight I have. Like I'm so envious of just anyone I mean, it's like you got it so good. They're going to look at games like past this and be like, oh, it's nothing like Zelda though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the mystery and the play style that you're just given, like however you want to do it. Like, you know, they so brilliantly incorporated things like Minecraft, right? As far as like crafting food. It's not just like, you know, craft some Doritos. It's like kind of neat to think about like the food you're making. I don't know. Like part of me thinks like a kid like, Mom, I want like this is a dumb thing to think. But maybe some kids like, Mom, I want an Endura carrot. She's like, here's just a carrot. He's like, this'll do. Maybe that happens. I don't know. I think about
playing as
You're gonna be a good dad.
Thanks.
Yeah, you'll be great.
It's just charming. It just like
well, it's a survival
heartwarming.
game too. It's an immersive sim. It's a survival game. It's an adventure game, open world game.
Yeah,
it is a Zelda game, like when you get down to it, but like not like in the sense that a lot of people might define it as. But it still captures the idea of an adventurer, a hero coming back up to like reclaim the world and everything, along with these specific characters: Link, Zelda, Ganon. It's same characters, different time and different way that they've approached it, but it's still just like unreal.
And it's like by taking that risk, as far as, you know, you have to get through the tutorial, if you will, of getting all your runes, right, getting the hang glider. From then on, anyone can pick that up at any age and have fun with it. Like, it's endless. That's what's so neat to me. Like, you hear about, like, I don't know what outlet did a coverage of it.
This has been over at Polygon.
Yeah, he like gave his son, you know, the game, and his son for like a whole week would like take it for like a few hours a day and just go in a corner and just get like lost. And then like I think he said like a week later he asked him like, so what's going on? Where are you? He's like, hey, have you done this yet? And it's like, yeah, I did that like within the first hour. He's like, oh, okay. And
he hadn't gotten the glider yet, I don't think.
He had basically, his son just was finding enjoyment in just like roaming free, right? Like
on the Great Plateau specifically. He hadn't left it yet.
Right.
Yeah.
And he was having a blast with it.
And that's like, it's like the kind of the quasi tutorial of the game.
Right.
Yeah. Oh man. We could probably talk forever about this game, but that is our game of the year of 2017.
Woo!
Yeah, we're finally done. If you're watching this live, stick around. We are going to be playing it. Rob's going to pick up controller momentarily, but I just want to say thank you so much. This was a different format. We try to change up game of the year formats every year. This year, the best of 2017, we've been calling it, was top 10 games of all years to decide to just go with 10 games, which helped the argument, but also made it very tough because if you got into the top 10, that means it's a fantastic game. There were a bunch that just barely didn't make it, but we also have these editor spotlight videos where a bunch of the content team championed their favorite game that wasn't in the top 10. So go check those out. Go check out 10 through 1, or 10 through 2, so to speak. They started off Nier Automata, and then we did What Remains of Edith Finch, Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, Horizon Zero Dawn, Divinity, Original Sin 2, Resident Evil 7, Super Mario Odyssey, Persona 5, and now Zelda.
Wow, you're getting really good.
Done. I've done that like what, 7 times now at this point, 8 times. But yeah, it's been really fun. Thank you so much for joining with our holiday theme. We never really mentioned it, obviously, but like we've been doing the ugly sweater holiday theme for a while. You probably figured it out.
Rob's sweater is.
Saw our naughty list up there next to Rob behind there. You got you can't see it right now.
It's 3 reindeers hugging.
Speaking of children, talking about Zelda, that's a great sweater to be wearing.
Subtle.
But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining. Go catch up with all that stuff on YouTube or GameSpot. If you're here live, I guess we don't need a spoiler warning for Zelda, right? Like, we're not going to see anything spoiler-ish. We're just going to play Zelda. We're going to show you a bunch of gameplay until Tay comes in and kicks us out, or until GS Universe needs the studio. So, yeah, let's get into it.
Okie dokie, Artichoke.
You're playing.
We're in it to win it!
Oh shit, this is a very early save.
Yeah,
when
man.
you said early save, I thought you meant relatively for you, like 300 hours in.
No, I initially last night I was telling you like, oh, let's, you know what? It'll be a great thing to do is just do the Terrytown quest, and then my naive ass self would realize the amount of rupees and wood and
well, that's what I said. I was like, is
and
that
it's like,
the best idea?
Oh, where's my fast travel? Oh, I want to get from here to here. Good luck, pal. That's another.
You don't even have enough weapons to cut down trees enough for the wood.
Whatever.
You could find them, but
honestly,
it wouldn't take the span of one stream.
You guys had a whole series of speedruns where you would try to go from the beginning and beat the game.
Not necessarily speed runs, but Peter and I would take turns blindfolding one another and directing the person blindfolded.
Sounds kinky.
It is kinky, and
cool.
it also was a headache, and I think we got burnt out.
So explain to people watching who might not be familiar with the game what you're trying to do, because if I didn't know what you were trying to do, it might be
pickpocket
weird.
that horse.
Right now, this is a part in the game where Link has an insanely bad cramp. and you have to try to get a horse to have him kick you in the back and fix it.
Fell down a well, her eyes go cross.
Now, what
Gets
I'm
kicked by
trying
a
to do-
mule, they go back.
I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get on this horse.
Can you do it with just that armor? You might be
Can
too
you even do it
loud.
with that? Don't you need more endurance? You probably have like nothing, right?
Well, the endurance, yeah, but he's probably hearing you. No
You're also
matter
making
what.
a lot of noise.
Yeah.
Well, when you hop, yeah.
Yeah.
Really? When you hop? I thought.
I don't.
God damn it.
That horse is like, dude, I am onto you.
I see you, dude.
Let me eat.
So did you guys all learn that shield surf when you were walking around that main
No.
world? Like, because I
didn't.
feel like that's something you might learn at different times.
They never told me until I was up in the Hebra Mountains.
Gotcha.
Ooh, nice.
Ho, ho.
Yeah, they
ho.
told me when I was up in the Hebra region.
Because I heard about it from people in the office, but the first time I saw it was when you're just walking around the grasslands and there were some kids shield surfing down a hill.
Yeah.
I was
Oh, I
like,
didn't even
oh, this
see
is
that.
how I do that.
Oh, I did
never
not see
even
that
saw
either.
at all.
What?
There are kids shield surfing?
Yeah, there's like two guys, or not kids, like there were two people
Highly
shield
grown
surfing, and you walk up to them and are like, hey, well, if you do this, if you can do this faster than we're doing it, we'll pay you some money.
Yeah,
and it's
the
like,
first
oh, so
person
this
I-
is how we do that.
First person I saw mention it was the girl. She's like the
Rob says
ex-professional. Did you guys run into the girl in the Hebra region in the cabin who was the ex-professional
Oh, yeah.
shield
Shield surfer?
surfer? That's
Yeah.
the first time I heard someone
What?
specifically mention it.
Yeah,
Oh,
she,
oh, oh.
she,
Mention
yeah,
it,
she'll
sure.
like,
Yeah.
it's a time travel type thing. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Justin, I never heard of that. That's insane.
Yeah, when you're just walking around the main area, there's some guys who are hanging out by a tree.
I see a shrine in the distance.
Yeah.
This is the best.
Get that shrine.
This is the best.
Okay.
So the other thing that's missing from this game, the thing that
I
that
forgot,
did
like you have to unlock all the towers first. Like that was so long ago.
that almost dropped it down for me, you can't pet dogs. You stand near a dog and all the little
Yeah.
hearts come up. Why the hell can't you pet a dog?
I will say
blew it.
on a serious note, the one thing that I would love to see.
I'm serious.
I know.
On a relevant note.
I kind of miss the idea of the Triforce being a thing, like a physical object that you have to attain in a way.
Even in Wind Waker. The OG Wind Waker,
all
not a
all
Wii U.
that chasing. Yeah, no, I would love like a world like this where there is like these like very powerful, super crazy relics like buried
Yeah.
somewhere really freaking deep in the world, and like I don't know, maybe it's just I want more of this game, and that's the immediate thing I can like insert into that, but whatever. I'm just dreaming.
I like to think of the those shriveled up monks in shrines. There's a deeper story to all that. Those guys.
Mm-hmm.
They're Sheikah, right?
I don't think they're Sheikah. I think Sheikah you can always tell because it's the. No wait, you're right. They are Sheikah. I'm thinking of Yiga Clan. Yiga Clan is the Sheikah sign upside down.
Yeah. Which is kind of like
Yet
turning a crucifix upside down.
Oh, did I do the wrong one?
What?
Nothing.
there's some information that I'd like to insert into this conversation, but it would potentially be a spoiler
Yeah, it would be.
We've been doing spoilers on the stream.
for the Champions Ballad.
Yeah,
That
don't
just
do it.
came out.
Never mind, not Champions Ballad.
So one of the other things that early on let me know that this was a really special experience is, like, as I get older, I don't play games as much as I used to. Like
Fake gamer.
I play a lot. I play a wider variety of games. I don't beat as many games as I used to when I was younger, and this was one of the first games in a long time where I would be playing until 3 or 4 a.m.
Yeah.
It was also tough this year to beat games with all the good games coming out.
And there's so many huge, like, long experiences. And I've spent over 100 hours in a lot of other games, but this is like almost 200 hours.
Yeah.
And so like it's hard to when you have to play so many games, when you have to know so much about a wide variety of games, it's hard to give so much time to a single title. This made me happy to do that.
Also, just emphasize how awesome the Switch can be in terms of portability.
And you're just sitting on the couch, time gets away from you.
I like to think of Link handing these guts over with like no bag, just like in your hand, just.
Oh yeah.
I finally upgraded my Hylian tunic all the way, and you needed a lot of Bokoblin guts and amber.
Like you do.
As far as upgrading armor, some of the most difficult things to find where they're like, we need a star fragment for each one of these.
Oh yeah, from Lionels sometimes carry them, or you could just see the shooting
Lionel's
stars.
carry them?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get like one of the ways to get a star fragment is literally waiting for a shooting star.
Also, like one of the most difficult fights in the game for me up until the point I did it was the Lionel in the Coliseum. And
Oh,
get
yeah.
this, I finally used like 6 weapons on him. I was mounting him. I was shooting him in the face. I was stasising him to stop him and shoot him in the face.
Sounds like a good night.
I used Urbosa's Fury. Is that what it's called? On him. Finally killed him, and then I was like, oh, now that I had the DLC, the Phantom helmet was right nearby, and I went to go grab it, and all of a sudden, a blood moon came up, and he's right there behind me. I was like, God damn it!
The first time, so much about this game is like it's corny to say, but it feels like magic when like things happen. Like the first time a blood moon happened, I legit got scared. I was like, what do I do? Where do I go? Where do I go?
No, going back to star fragments. The first time I saw a star fragment fall from the sky, like I was playing this, me and you were playing this game before anybody knew what was going on, and then just like, I don't know who to talk to. Like, Rob, did you ever see a falling star? And like you're like, what?
Yeah.
It's like, dude.
And if you don't get to them soon enough, don't they disappear if you don't?
They disappear
or
in
like
morning
at least
light.
the glow come. Oh, they do disappear. Yeah.
So if you don't get to it by morning.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
But you have all night. They're still so hard to find sometimes.
You had a very good tweet, Rob, that I don't think I ever complimented you on. When the Master Cycle was shown off, you were like, you were pretending to be Link or the stable keeper. Like, hey, would you like to register your? What the hell is that? What the is that? I probably used horses for a total of 45 minutes in my 180 something hours.
Horses are legit. You can feed them.
They
you
are.
Can, you can do this.
You do dressage.
Did you do the quest where there's a horse show and you got to do this?
Looks like you're doing Gangnam Style on top of the horse.
There isn't a quest like that. I made it up.
There's the horse racing. There was one of those that I had.
There is a
with.
horse racing one. Yeah.
Oh, I hated that.
That was hard.
Because the horse is like.
Horse does not want to do what you tell it to do.
Yeah.
I love a few of these people you like run into. Like getting quests out of like NPCs in the world is so fun because they don't like, just like the nature of this game, they don't like put an objective on your map, right? They say, oh, go to like the waterfall in between 2 peaks or something like that in this region, and you legit like follow signs in the road and like gauge what the hell they were talking about. There's those 2 like the twins, I think in the Dueling Peaks. I have no idea what I just said to this person. But yeah, it's just fun to like, again, like.
Oh, what happened to that shrine?
Oh, good call. Let's do a shrine. Yeah, again, this game just does not like heavy hand the map at all. Like the map is yours. Chill out.
Ho ho
ho ho
ho ho. Ah, the old Wago Kata shrine.
Oh, remember this one?
I do.
Skip. What's your favorite shrine and the name of it? Go. Go. Name one shrine.
Greedy Hill.
Margot Sinai.
That's not the name of a shrine.
Try to name.
It's called Greedy Hill.
Nope.
No way.
Absolutely not.
It is called Greedy Hill. Oh, I see. Oh, shit. No, so here's. Okay, sorry. I get what you're saying.
If you translate
that's what it says when you get down here. Like right here.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Wago Kata. I was like, why is he so like vehemently against this? I just played it. Stop it. No.
Oh, I remember this one. I actually do. This is you gotta put the platform.
You do.
But some people were using like magnesis creatively in this to. I don't know. There's
do this.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, you got it. No.
Oh, I remember what you do.
There was a few early on that sounded like anagrams or ambigrams, ambigrams of like Aonuma and Iwata and stuff, and I had a theory that they were. Did you mean that?
Yeah. Good joke, right?
We like to have fun here.
We love this game.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Whoops.
What?
Actually, I just tweeted something before it was done. I'm tweeting about the game here.
Cool. Well,
Great.
see, this is a great shrine. What we do here is we put these boxes on one another.
Oh, IGN gave it Game of the Year too.
Oh, yeah.
Copycats.
Yeah, we did it first. You heard it here first.
Game Awards gave this game.
Oh my God! Look at. Oh, I thought I was stuck in this.
So we saw like the big Game Awards show down in LA where we got to talk with Aonuma and Fujibayashi. Like I think it's going to be rare outside of like PC, like a PC-focused site, to not give Zelda Game of the Year.
PC Gamer gave Divinity Original Sin 2, but I
it would have been funnier if PC Gamer gave Zelda Game of the Year. Like, we love Divinity 2, but we all spent a long time playing Zelda.
It's the modding community for Switch that's so heavy.
The one thing I hope as a result of all this is that Nintendo like spins things up to get us a new game, not like right away, but not years and years after the fact.
I mean, Majora's Mask came out very shortly after Ocarina of Time, and that was such a different experience using that same engine.
Yeah.
I would love to explore something new in this engine.
I mean, I still think that they're going to add more DLC for this game next year. That we just don't know it. They're going to announce it during a direct.
Not to sound mean, they'd be dumb not to.
I bet this is an
Another
excellent
season pass or
This is
whatever.
an excellent platform, and they could easily like justify teleporting you to a new location or something, or a shrine that you go into that is bigger than just any other shrine. Like, but that is big. It's like the Master Trial stuff. Like that was substantial.
But even with Mario Kart 8, Mario Kart 8 was super popular.
I thought you were trying to do like a Nathan Drake there as it fell.
Oh, I wasn't thinking ahead. It's been a while since I did this one. That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
But for Mario Kart, like they laid out, here's the year of DLC that you're going to get, and even as popular as it was, we didn't get more out of it. I kind of think that they might do a new title, like Legend of Zelda something else.
Sure, like perhaps
before the Switch is over.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like even in maybe in the next year or two.
What are you doing?
I don't know. Work with me here. Am I that dumb? I forget how to do this.
You can climb these, right? So stack 3 and then make it a bridge from the top of the 3 boxes.
Yeah. You're just making this more complicated.
Well, that's what I was trying to do.
Prove it.
You can climb these, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He knows that.
Duh.
He's just in it for the comedy.
No, I'm not. At this point,
That's too close, I think. Put the right side of it right on
you
top.
gotta move it on. Yeah. No.
Yeah. Right, the right side of the plank, like right in the middle of the top box. Yeah.
Oh, but it's gotta be like right here, right?
I don't even know if you're lined up on the Z-axis.
Well, yeah. Look at the
There
bottom.
you go. That looks good
Oh
to me.
yeah.
I got a good feeling about this.
Nailed it. Wish I had my camera. I would totally take a selfie.
Oh, no,
I'm
you're
not
gonna
a
fall. So,
Great game.
if they did do another round of DLC, or if they use this engine to do something similar, what would you want out of it? Would you be happy with just more of this?
I mean, like I think there's. So on the one hand, like I'd like the DLC that we've gotten, like at least the first batch, right? Like it was just sort of like these very like bite-sized encapsulated challenges that were distinct from the world, like separate in a way. I want something more that's like set within the world. So like the Champions Ballad got close, but it still felt like I was taking part in the same locations. I want to somehow be removed from the map we know and have it extend in a certain direction. Like we know if you go to the west, right, you can like climb up a wall where it literally stops you, and it's like
First time I ever ran into the
right. So we know that there's more out there. Like even the map shows features on a piece of the map that you can't get to. So it stands to reason that there's more stuff there. So I would like them to extend the map further. How that ties into the story, I don't know. Whether that's important or not, I also don't know.
What new biome could they do that they haven't?
Like a new Donk City.
Everything. Yeah.
It's Link coming to like an urban ass city. It's like, get out of here, kid.
It was the year 2010.
What if you go to like, holy shit? What if they just link to the past in you and they put another Dark World map on top of this?
Right. I mean, but isn't that all
insane?
I would not like that. I would not.
Oh yeah. Another
you're fine.
Another 120 shrines, but like harder.
But upside down.
Yeah. Symphony of
It
Night.
makes your brain really work. I love it.
Or like you go to the Twilight Realm.
Or you have kind of a space theme. Like this is obviously a civilization, or it seems like a civilization that could have traveled into space. Like what if you went to the moon or something? Another planet?
I'd be on board. I was talking about how this setting is actually not all that different from, I mean, it's different, but it's not all that different from Horizon. It's a post-apocalypse, right? Like it's still, you find all this ancient technology that you're trying to figure out in this wilderness that has overtaken the world after this calamity happened in this game, or the robot taking over in Horizon Zero Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
There's something so grim too about, like with the memories of like how, like in between the castle, like there's a town around Hyrule Castle, like that was a town and it's leveled. Like when those guardians, like they show it like really quickly, those things like getting controlled by Ganon and then like spilling out, like that's so grim. Just like these things just killing.
I love that you can go past
wrecking
Lone
shop.
Lone Ranch.
Oh yeah.
So I remember when they first showed gameplay of the game, they're like, look, so you can sneak up on a Bokoblin camp and steal their weapons while they're sleeping, so they get up and run to the log and they're not there anymore. And I thought like that. I was like, that alone is awesome. Like that's and that was just not even the tip of the iceberg when it came to the possibilities in this game.
This is some Metal Gear ass shit right here.
Wait, he doesn't see you when you do that? He just is dumb and confused?
Oh, look at that metal box is moving. Typical.
He is a Bokoblin. I mean,
Yeah, they are.
That's fair.
Lower IQ.
Play a mean horn though.
Lower Inca quotient. No, not Inca. Yeah.
Turn.
Whatever you prefer.
Who's the Impa? God damn it. The Shadow Temple from Ocarina used to be my favorite dungeon in that game.
Too
So
late.
I went back with a brain and played it. I was like, wow, this sucks. Woo! Sorry.
Jesus.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot of people like knock the combat in this game and say it's not all that great.
I love it.
The thing is that like early on you don't need to understand everything about combat, but especially if you play in master mode.
Yeah.
Oh God, you need to understand every single parry, dodge, like that's possible. Like you need to be so on top of everything, and then once
This guy's throwing rocks.
you get put into that, you realize like what really is capable in this world and how combat is pretty cool. It's not as simple as it seems at first glance.
Let's see if I can get one of those moves. I still have not gotten the shield parry for Guardians.
Oh, I've gotten the Guardian one down. I don't use it with anybody else.
In Master Mode, I swear to God, there is no timing. How did that guy just die?
Well, it depends on the distance from them. The laser still travels. Like, if you're close enough to them, it's like right when it makes the ping, and then I do it.
But what I'm saying is like it's not even predictable. Like there is no like set time as far as the beep. Because I remember Jake was telling me like, oh, whenever it beeps
that's what
at
I
this
thought.
moment, no, but in like they'll just fire like maybe a half a second early or late. I swear to God, it's
Yeah, you just gotta know like
significantly-
when the laser is a certain distance from you, then you start swinging. If you swing too late, obviously it's gonna smoke you.
Did you guys ever do the side quests in Kakariko Village with the
Whoa, you did it.
I nailed it, didn't I?
We used to call it Karaoke Village,
Yeah,
and then
it
you
is
called
karaoke.
Rito Village Dorito Village.
With the fireflies. You remember that one?
Which one?
In Kakariko Village.
He's collecting fireflies.
It didn't rub me in the interest.
There's a there's a woman who like is upset or like I don't know, she's sad and she wants
Oh yeah.
she wants like fireflies, so you go, you pick up like 8 and then you like open it up in her pad. This is really awesome.
Yes.
That's all I gotta say about that. Horse! Get your ass over here.
Yeah. I wish you could have expanded out your house a little bit more. Like it was nice having a having the space to make your own.
Yeah.
But like
Although when you do Terrytown, where do they go? Because you have to bring them to the wedding, and then I can't
Everybody
find
has
them
their own
anymore.
house.
In,
I thought they just hung out there.
They go up to Terrytown, but then when I'm still trying to build my house in Hateno Village, I can't find them. Unless it's just during the wrong time of day.
No, you lost your chance, buddy.
Are you serious?
I don't know.
Don't do that.
yeah, I thought they
love,
stayed
like-
there, right outside your house.
They usually do, but then you bring them up to the wedding. In,
Right, in Terrytown. They
Terrytown.
officiate. Yeah.
For
Well, and they help build the
Carlson
town.
or Hudson. But I love that after a while I figured out if I had a flame sword and I hit meat on the ground before I picked it up, it would just cook it immediately.
Or if you drop, if you
anywhere-
kill something in the fire, like the
If meat drops anywhere on the ground in the Elden region, the Goron region, it just starts cooking.
A party, and we didn't get an invite.
That's an orgy, dude.
Let's get our asses in there.
Literally.
You don't fire arrows. You do.
Where's my
Barrel.
Where's my invite? Oh no!
You're a horse.
No!
What is this, Game of Thrones?
Burn.
I'm sorry.
The horse is like,
I
fuck
thought he was
you.
gonna jump in the water like
Yeah.
Jake.
Do it. Make a move. What's up? Oh no! Bad move.
Mistakes were made.
I love when they start figuring out what you're doing with the bombs and kick it at you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Or like when the moblins will like, out of frustration, just pick up a bokoblin and throw it at you.
The only thing stopping me from saying this is my favorite game of all time is I do not want to back myself into that corner.
I feel the same way.
But it is. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't say that. It's close.
I feel like it'll be hard for it not to stand the test of time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you don't want to do it in the same year that it came out. But it really feels like that.
Yeah.
What else is in your top games of all time?
I mean, Majora's Mask. If anybody put a gun in my head and told me to tell them, I'd say Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask, Time Splitters 2, XCOM 2, Red Alert 2. A lot of sequels. Number 2s.
The dose.
What else?
So when
I don't
Breath
know,
of the Wild 2 comes
Pokemon
out,
Blue,
maybe.
I'd say. Pokemon Blue and Red. I think Time Splitters 2 is the weird one. Zombies Ate My Neighbors, which I played that recently.
That game's not that good.
No.
Let's talk to this guy.
Good co-op when I was 6.
Yeah, good rental game.
Whoa.
What?
What? What's your favorite game? Final Fantasy Tactics?
Yeah.
That game is not that good. Just kidding. I played like half an hour of it.
Yeah.
I didn't give it the chance it
I know.
supposedly deserves.
What's one of your favorite
I forgot I
games of all
spent
time?
like a whole weekend getting the towers. I just take them for granted now. What?
No, it's like that pivot.
That's what's so funny was that when I thought
I
about
saw one in the distance.
when I thought about Terrytown, I was like, oh yeah, that's doable. I know how that mission goes. And it's like, yeah, no towers, no stamina.
Here, be a lumberjack for 3 days.
Right. Well, 2 if you're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's
But
on
there you
your
go.
What's in your list of favorite games of all time, Rob?
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill this guy.
Brigo. Bringo was
name
his
of-
name.
Bringo. The name of my horse was Brago.
Okay, bye. See ya.
It's Aragorn's horse in Lord of the Rings.
Justin, I'm sorry. You were.
It's a kingly name.
Favorite game. Honestly, like Ocarina is really, really up there. I like have replayed that game so many freaking times. Why is there a shoe?
Oh no.
Stole my
No,
show.
this is for you.
No.
Here
You guys are lucky I'm wearing brand new socks today
I saw
to
that.
celebrate Game of the Year.
I'm wearing
What about you, Justin?
wearing these
How old are
things.
your socks?
Oh, what socks am I wearing? I'm wearing
No!
s'more socks. They have s'mores on them.
Mine has marijuana leaves on mine. They were the only ones that were clean. I got them at Comic-Con last year. It's MTV socks with Mary Jane leaves on 'em.
like Chronic Con.
My socks have this
Nice.
white check on it.
Like Breath of the Wild is in contention for one of the best games of all time.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
right now, Portal is definitely
Yeah.
like that's such a memorable experience.
Totally. Yeah. That portal moment where you're on the conveyor belt, right? And you like the game just leaves it up to you. Like I wonder how many people like thought that was the end of the game. Oh, they just kill you in the end?
Did you guys see they combined Bridge Constructor and Portal in a game?
Yeah.
Has anyone played that yet?
It's like $10. It just came out like today,
I haven't
right?
played it yet.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I've
That's
heard like okay things about it. Like the Portal connection isn't that. There's no like subversive weird stuff.
Yeah, it's like it's Bridge
mechanical.
Constructor with Portal aperture technology, right?
Right.
That's a weird. Is that a weird partnership, like Valve and them?
I wouldn't put anything past Valve, man.
Yeah, I
They're the
guess
most
so.
unpredictable, inconsistent company out there.
Well, I don't know about inconsistent. They're unpredictable.
What? They're totally inconsistent.
Dota 2? Here sucks.
Here's Half-Life. Here, we got 3 episodes of Half-Life 2 coming out. Just kidding, 2. Also, in a few years' time, we're going to buy a Warcraft 3 mod and make that the thing that we do.
But that's unpredictable. Inconsistent would mean like the stuff they put out is sometimes good, sometimes bad to me. Like everything they put out is good.
Oh, I mean, their decision-making is inconsistent. Like, they're going to dedicate... I mean, even they...
Newell's busy
whatever.
smelting things.
And Majora's Mask.
Blacksmithing weapons.
So Majora's Mask is also definitely in my top 5 games of all time.
And one of the big reasons I like that so much is because it did really weird, bold things with the Zelda formula.
Rob.
That guy's so pissed.
Okay, see ya.
Oh, we're going the same way. This is awkward.
Hey, there's a shrine.
It's 10:33.
Screw it. I was thinking, do you guys want? We could jump to like we could jump from early game to the latest game with a dirt bike.
Yeah, do
Let's-
that.
Freaking do it.
All right.
Let's do the dirt bike and then maybe go see another, I don't know, Hebra region, the snow? Or you know what my favorite region is? The Akala region. I like the autumn vibe it's got.
Yeah.
That's literally the worst region.
Yeah, right. What, you're probably a Gerudo guy, aren't you?
Hell no, dude. Farron.
Oh, the swamps down south.
Yeah, like the
Those are
jungle
really good.
forest is so good.
It was there in Hebra. I did not explore for like my first 50 hours, and then I was like, wow, there's two whole other biomes.
And Farron Force is like just heavy rains and lightning. Like you're like severely limited as far as like climbing and
we
wearing.
Haven't even talked about that. I remember before the game came.
John Luke, can you cut to camera real quick? 2 seconds. Donka.
Just load up Stardew Valley. What was I gonna say? It's crazy that we didn't even. I remember before the game came out, you saw someone based on because the E3 demo for this game was play for an hour. I remember Dave Jewett did a catapult thing. I mean, you went back for like a second hour, but I remember even in Dave Jewett's first hours, he made a catapult that I think the Nintendo Treehouse rep had not seen.
Yeah.
With the stasis and the magnesis and line something up in the catapult.
right.
But Pete saw like I think it was a Reddit thread where someone's like, we didn't know if it was fake or not, but they're like, supposedly if you're like in a lightning storm, you have metal armor or weapons or stuff, you can it'll start like warning you, and you'll get struck by lightning if you wait too long. We're like, no way. And then that happens. That's like I oftentimes keep wooden weapons specifically for that situation.
Yeah,
sure.
Ancient gear as well was good for that stuff.
I remember Josh Shaw, former GameSpot producer over at Twitch now, he did the Gerudo region first. Most people do.
So badass.
Most people do.
Mifo's area.
Yeah, the Zora's Domain.
Zora, yeah.
What,
It's kind of.
Nehru? I don't know. Most people do like
the area?
that first, and then do that Divine Beast if you do the Divine Beast, and then because you get the extremes in the Gerudo. You need warm. You need to stay warm at night and to stay cool during the day.
Stay cool, baby.
All right. Should I give a spoiler warning?
Yes.
No, it's in the trailer.
If you haven't seen the Champions Ballad trailer and don't know that the vehicle gadget that Link gets, I guess turn this off right now.
If you don't pay attention to the games you love.
Yeah.
So let me give you a little rundown on how I like to use the bike. First, you want to.
It's a bike.
You want to equip the ancient. You want to go with the ancient bow and arrow there. Yeah. Okay.
Ancient blade saw.
Get ready for it. You ready for the big one? Look how cool I freaking look.
Oh, he used my my amiibo, right? You got Rivali's.
Oh yeah.
I need to get that. So how do you get that helmet again?
He just got it from my amiibos.
This office has amiibos.
Each
I feel
of the
so
champions
privileged because I would
can
never
randomly
buy
drop
one.
one of those.
Ah, okay.
Look how
This
cool
what
that
does this do? Does it give you an ability? Can you go
Yeah.
back to it?
So
Makes you look sick as fuck.
Well, yeah.
Other than looking amazing, I get all my weapons that are ancient have higher damage.
Damn.
And this head, I mean, I would imagine it's for each region, prevents me from getting cold in areas.
Oh, because it's from the Hebra region.
And then look how much.
The chameleon one would look weird. The Va.
Look how cool it is. Look how cool that looks.
Wheelie would spin out.
Oh, I need to put.
All right, that was the bike.
Anticlimactic. That's the Master Cycle Zero, and that's our game of the year.
I need to put some gas in.
Yeah, that's right.
You gas it up with monster parts.
Whatever you want, right?
Whatever you want, baby.
Anything? It's like
Well,
the
Mike,
it's like
monster
the
parts
DeLorean
are
from
probably
Back
the
to the
best.
Future too.
I think you can even
They're
use
the
outfits.
best.
You can
They're
use
like
trash.
They're like the '87 type.
Doc Brown is throwing in like banana peels into the DeLorean.
Plantain peels, specifically.
Yeah.
They're really eco-friendly in, I guess, the past/future of Zelda. Their ancient technology was.
Hi, Link. That's my backyard.
The horse is like, all right.
What's up, bitch?
Okay, so one thing, we always talk about
It's running away from you.
figuring out things that we didn't know were possible in this game. Is there a way to propel the bike faster that maybe we don't know about?
Well, you can make ramps with stasis and magnesis, and then maybe put a metal box behind it.
So that it
Stasis
flies
it,
and pushes you?
Hit it a few times. Can you try
It'd
that?
probably knock you off the bike, though, wouldn't it?
Get on the bike really fast. Yeah.
Lights out.
Can you try that, Rob? Have you tried that?
Oh, let's land on it. Say again.
Putting like something behind the bike, like on the ground, stasis, and then hit it a shit ton of times till the arrow's red. Then get on the bike.
Okay.
Does it propel you?
Sure, let's try it.
Have you tried it?
Nope.
Oh.
I know the perfect spot.
What? Off of Death Mountain?
No, I just know that there are some especially large metal boxes in this area.
They don't have to be metal. It just needs to be able to get stasis. But metal boxes is a good
They're
option.
the strongest.
Okay.
Of the boxes.
I like how, like in
Burning things.
Again, spoilers. Like, obviously those are divine beasts, but like basically your bike is a divine beast for Link.
Oh, I never saw the loading screen with it.
It's pretty sweet. Like when you look at it in that respect, and I think that's the lore that justifies a freaking dirt bike. Is that like, all right, you got walking giant
Chameleon.
AT-ATs practically. Like, oh, it's a little hot. Like, you
So
might as well,
is there?
like,
So
have
if
a
you got
bike.
like the Va Ruda mask, would it maybe keep your temperature down in the hot regions?
Is
The
it would it be
chameleon mask?
Ruda? It would be the other one.
Or no,
I think
Ruda is the elephant.
Ruda would.
What's the chameleon? Lizard.
I don't know.
Whatever. Va Rudania?
Yeah.
Something like that. If you got the
That's all you need.
Goron ancient mask.
Yeah, I would
love the
imagine this would be heat resistance in this area. Ruda would be swim. I bet you could swim faster with it.
Gerudo would be
Heat again. Exhaustion heat. I'm spitballing here, guys.
I could just look it up, but I'd rather find out myself.
I know where this is. It's over here. So I'll do that, and then I can find out. Bingo was his name. Oh. Oh, what am I doing? What? You can't use the bike here?
No.
Not in the Elden region?
No, you can't use it in the desert either.
Guys, I think
We'll go to like a Bokoblin camp with metal boxes.
You know, it
just that one.
overheats.
Oh shit. Fire keys. Link, you're drunk.
You blew it.
just whiff and then immediately warp out. Like, super embarrassed. I gotta go. Damn it.
You didn't even swing in the right direction.
That's like in Napoleon Dynamite where he like tests the Tupperware and she's standing just watching him. And he just annihilates it with his car. Dang it. Just drives away. Dang it.
It's the hero of time.
We'll edit
everyone.
We'll edit that out in the VOD.
You say that all
We'll
the
fix it in
time.
post. Shrink it in post.
The wonders of editing.
So what else do you have left to do in this game?
Um,
Are you gonna keep playing it?
you know what I was thinking about doing?
Starting over.
Now, not starting over, even though that's tempting, is I've been thinking about like 100%ing it hardcore.
Koroks.
Oh, as in not just Koroks, but
Oh, yeah, that.
filling this shit out.
That, dude, yeah, that's the thing that
And
I was-
become like a National Geographic photographer, just like taking photos of everything.
You could
That
also-
sounds like a cool way to play it.
You
That'd
can
be a
also
good
just
video
cheat.
series.
I've been doing that
Ooh, that's
anyway.
not-
In your whatever his name is voice. What was his
David Attenborough.
name? Yeah, David Attenborough.
I can't do it. I can't do that.
Steve Irwin.
You can also just buy those things.
Yeah, it's more fun to find them.
No.
That's kind of like the moons, right? The moons of
Yeah.
Well,
this game.
I mean, different, but yeah.
I didn't know about this. There's one right there. There's a box. No, never mind. That's gonna break. You do need better.
He just likes looking at
He's
himself.
admiring
like,
himself. Like Patrick Bateman, except in Zelda. What a weird reference.
There's your thumbnail right there.
I can imagine Rob in. Oh, there's a metal box right there. I can imagine Rob in real life.
I know.
Peeling up on a bike on the sidewalk. Here's your thumbnail.
Oh, but these guys all think that you're their dad. That's their backstory.
It's their way of. That's their how they show affection.
Let me
They
get up,
punch
son.
Daddy.
Lights out. Sick.
I bet you say that when it's just you alone at home playing this.
it. Oh my god, I would love to be a fly on the wall.
Me just laughing. Like,
Did anybody else just see
maniacally.
him turn to the camera? Crouch goes sick. As if he's gonna take a selfie, he just never took it.
Oh my
I
god.
could do this for hours.
Well, get like a ramp area, right? Like up this hill or
Oh,
something.
make
Yeah.
a ramp?
No. I mean just like
Don't shoot to the
there's
water.
a Korok
Shoot
right there
uphill.
that you did not do. It looks like, but
Don't
like
distract him.
I hate Koroks.
Damn, Rob.
That was you know that was tight. You know that was tight.
All right.
calculated. You could make a ramp, I guess. Yeah,
No,
whatever,
no.
This is fine.
Great.
So, moblins. Style moblins, what are they called?
So aggressive sometimes.
In the water. Down in that dog.
Have a drink. Does that work?
No.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, you know what I also figured out about magnesis? Usually there's a range to it, but if like a metal chest falls to the bottom of a very deep lake, they will extend the range of it to allow you to get the chest. in that specific instance.
Okay, I believe you.
I showed Rob. I did an amiibo near the reservoir up at the top, near the top of Mount Lanayru. The chest fell off the cliff and down the bottom of the lake, and I saw it tiny at the very bottom. I was like, shit, I can't get it. But then they actually let you grab something that far away if that specific thing happens, which is good foresight.
Uh-oh, Dad's here.
They're getting kicked off the set. Okay, get on it.
All right, here.
Oh shit!
Let's do it! Close it out.
Like when he looks back.
Is it still there?
That was anticlimactic.
All right.
Well, we've been told that this is.
All right, we've been told. We've been kicked out of the studio.
All right, well, let's end it on something. Ooh, how about a Lionel fight?
You're on the whole production
I heard a
crew.
bunch of no.
All right, ramp off something and like midair, we'll call it. Jump into the water.
Jump into the water? That's not very cool. See, the thing about this bike that I love and
Not
I
letting
hate
us end.
is that horses are just meaningless now. All horses are obsolete.
I mean, maybe if you're dead
Well,
inside.
fucking cars made
can't
horses obsolete. We still use them.
I mean, when you feed this thing an apple, you gotta like throw it into its back. At least a horse will like
It's gonna
eat it out
want
of
a
your
glass
hands.
of milk. All right.
All right, let's kill one guardian.
All right. You already did. All right.
Just do Ganon real quick.
Yeah, I can do Ganon.
He loves himself in this.
Dude, I love myself so much. Look how cool that is.
I would lose
Run
my
into
mind
something.
if you ran into a wall.
It's like GTA. How long can you do cinematic mode?
Yeah.
All right, where's this guy at?
Oh.
Guardians fear me.
So there have been a lot of crossovers this year, also with Zelda showing up in Skyrim. I guess
There's my boy.
it was a Monster Hunter before. Do you think there's anything that they would put into Zelda? Oh, because they did have Xenoblade
dirt
Chronicles
bike?
armor that you get.
Yeah,
Without
I
laces.
actually,
that's right.
I wasn't too fond of that.
I don't think it looks good to begin with.
No, but it also does seem very strange.
Don't make this longer than it needs to be. We know you're better than this.
I'm not convinced.
The production crew is just steaming right now.
They're all quitting one by one.
All right.
Rob's a pro gamer.
What are you doing? Oh yeah, right.
I'm
okay.
killing him.
Yeah, you sure are.
Is that a wind cleaver from the Yiga clan dudes?
Yeah, I like those swords.
Damn
I
it.
like keeping them in my inventory more than using them though. But they are nice for pushing people off ledges.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a sick thumb from the left.
Nope.
Show you a sick thumb.
You trying to jump it?
I'm trying my best.
They're just gonna pull the plug. They're just gonna pull the plug.
All right, finish it, kill it.
Sayonara, sweet dreams, mother F.
Arrivederci.
With a regular arrow?
Sweet dreams, baby. Sweet dreams.
Chochacho.
There you have it. Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Rob's game of the year.
Is Rob's favorite game of all time. That's sick. Is GameSpot's best game of 2017 as decided upon by the staff. And it looks like a lot of other outlets are agreeing with us. But that's beside the point. Thank you so much for joining us for the past couple of weeks and doing this countdown. Should I do it one more time?
No.
No, we should just cut.
Yeah.
Nier Automata, What Remains of Edith Finch, Hellblade, Senua Sacrifice, Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, Horizon Zero Dawn, Divinity Original Sin 2, Resident Evil 7, Super Mario Odyssey, Persona 5, and Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild are our top 10 games of the year. What an unreal year it has been for video game releases ever since January kicked in with Resident Evil 7 and Gravity Rush 2, going into Resident Evil, I already said that, going into Horizon Zero Dawn and Zelda and the Switch, and it was a fantastic year. Thank you so much for sharing it with us, and especially wrapping up the year and celebrating all these games with us. It's been really, really fun, and if you want to go back and catch up on stuff, it'll all be on YouTube and GameSpot. We'll see you in the future at some point.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Take care.